need some light now.
Okay, we're gonna go sit over there. And I think we'll be okay.
Hi. I'm in a talk show host room.
Oh,
You know, we need that green screen and
did it already.
newscaster.
Okay.
Come on.
Oh, look, we're doing it. Now, you may think that I fit into this dress and I'm a big person, but actually, look what happened to me. Look at that.
Was that something that you used to wear? And that was your size before?
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
Wow.
See, isn't that an awesome dress? Look at this. My friend in Georgia gave it to me.
You're going to have to take some of that in.
Isn't this? Oh, I like it like this because I can wear it on top of 4 skirts and 4 blouses.
I'm wearing a long, furry
Here.
thing too. You know what? I got something that you probably really like to wear right now.
Wait.
Hang on. Hang on.
All right, now we're cooking with beans. Okay.
Here,
What?
try this.
Oh my goodness! Oh my goodness! Look at this. Let's show them. Look at this. Whoa! You got this at the dump, didn't you?
No, I did not.
You didn't?
No, I bought that one.
It's
Here, put your
beautiful.
arm.
Oh wait, I'll have to take off the layer.
Oh yeah, okay. It's a bit stretchy. Da da da.
Live.
Okay, hold on to your sleeves. Hold on to your sleeves, or you're gonna get bunched up. Okay. Here, just pull it up till you got the arms the way you want them.
Okay.
You know.
Oh, careful! This is
And then
my
you got
body.
look. You can be the.
Okay, we're gonna go sit down so that we can be a proper.
Okay, now we're dressed
gonna get
properly
ready.
for the event.
Getting ready.
Now we're dressed for the
Well,
event.
hello. Now we're too high. We have to turn the thing down a little bit.
You want me to move this
Yeah,
a bit?
that would be good. Yeah, now turn it toward the corner here between us.
Like that?
Yeah, let me see.
And you know what I can do
Yes,
too
a
is.
little, yeah, that's good. Well, it's. Oh, do we have a drape?
Yeah, I was just gonna go get that. Hang on.
I could just pull it. This is that.
You know, you can't pull it. You have to pull it from up here.
I understand.
Is that better?
Yeah, I guess.
We
so.
can do another one. How's that?
Whoa. Yes, it's lovely.
Is that better?
Let's bring the. Can we bring it closer? Or is that as far as?
Well, if I do that, I gotta. Hang on. Let me.
No,
what's-
let's leave it then.
Yeah.
It's too warm for this lovely outfit, but I'd like to put it as a blanket. And then I can see it. I can tell that you're a lot smaller than me. But you know, the gap is not as huge
Not
as
that
it used
big
to
of
be.
a difference, no.
It used to be a huge difference.
That
So,
would make a nice
hi.
dress.
Okay, here we are. I wonder if somebody has said something. Can you read from where you are?
Rachel C. Good morning.
Oh,
Okay.
hi, Rachel.
Hi, Rachel. Oh, wait a minute. We gotta look down here at the camera. Hi, Rachel. We got the laptop on the floor. Almost.
Hey, I think we should tilt it lower.
Lower?
To get rid of some of this light.
Okay.
Or maybe we should sit. Oh, that'll be better.
That better?
Yes, and then you'll have to slouch a bit. Maybe I should.
I'm okay.
You have to slouch.
Here, I'll slouch.
Okay. Now we're ready. No, this isn't working that way.
No, I could do this.
Here, you could sit on this side.
I can sit right here.
No, this is too white. So you sit here, and you'll be darker in this corner.
Okay.
And then you'll
you're
have.
gonna have to sit on the floor.
No, because I'm not as tall. You see? And I now see. Yes, now see the contrast between your black.
Okay, but
And
I
I
have
have
to pop this up a tiny bit more. There.
Okay.
Okay, and
This
I
is
think
fun.
there. Look at how lovely you look.
I do feel lovely now. This is good. Okay, and I'm going to put this side across me like so.
So we're in Canada.
Yes, we're way up
We're in
the
Canada where
boonies.
it's cold and it's hovering at the freezing mark. Uh, so we're wearing many layers. Friends of mine in Tampa are having 90-degree weather. They're in their shorts and t-shirts, and I said, "Wow, we're not going to see that till July." we're hoping that the lakes and rivers freeze so that we can finally get it in play. Otherwise, it's just going to be a mushy mess of nothing. Hibernation.
It's really fun to snowshoe.
Okay, so we were going to talk about how come we like each other.
Yeah, this is really interesting.
So
We
since
met
this is
each
your
other.
show, you have to tell them when we just
Okay,
met.
well, we met in town. She was coming away from the market, and I was walking towards it, I think. And we were on the corner across from Anchoret's house. And and I don't know what possessed me to, but I asked her if she lived here, and I don't know, what did I ask? This is how it began.
I don't know. You had a crazy hat on, and he said, "I don't normally dress like this." And all I saw was a really playful person coming out of the basketry museum place, which I hadn't explored yet. Is my neighbor. We had just moved here. And I thought that Nancy was a very playful person, and I wanted to know more about this playful person. And then I don't know what happened, how we ran into each other after that. I don't know.
Oh,
At
you
the
knew
market?
about the teepee. I told you about
Oh,
the
the
teepee.
teepee
And
game.
in the teepee, this is Sedge Meadow teepee. Well, Sedge Meadow teepee now has um, a teddy bear picnic, and so the teddy bears were climbing the poles, and I had these two stick people that Halloween or Thanksgiving people, and so I stuck them into the wet, deep soil.
Rag dolls propped up on sticks by the side of the road. So she had this whole theme going on the side of the road. And when she told me about this and on the side of the road when I first met her, I thought, oh my God, this is going to be fun. Because we have this reuse it center that's basically free things that people drop off. And I would start every time I went there to drop off our garbage and recycling, and I would look for some toys and things to dress up the side of her of the road at her house when she wasn't there. So that was our interaction at first, was just me adding things to her little theme going on. Put a guitar on hippied out some of the dolls on the side of the road.
It was so cool that every time I'd come down there, this is very strange. The vibe here, the three of us, it's different, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's totally different than just when we're just hanging out.
Yeah, well, because now we have an audience, so we're talking to each other, but we're talking for you about us.
Oh, people have said things. Let's
Oh.
just check it out. We have to keep up with this.
I
Okay,
can't see
Rachel
from
C.
here.
Good morning. How are you both? And then Lisa Olive there. Hi, Lisa. Good morning from Omaha. It's about 11 Fahrenheit here.
Oh, this is great. We can get a weather check from people around wherever
Okay,
they're calling
so-
in from.
Who said they're in Omaha?
Omaha, what's the temperature
Was
there?
that Nicole? No, that. What?
I'd have to go up there to see. I can't see.
What is wrong with my memory? Tisk tisk.
Okay, I'll get in here. It says, Rachel, good morning. Rachel
Hi,
C.,
Rachel.
how are you both?
We're fine.
We're fine. Thank you for asking. Thank you
I
for
was
asking.
walking on the side of the road after dropping off Desi, or after the bus arrived to pick him up, and so we were busy making footprints in circles all on the driveway or on the road. Anyway, so the bus came, and then I thought I would go walk up the road to the property and walk in and explore. And who should drive by but my friend Sydney?
That's today?
That's
Yeah,
today.
yeah. The roads were very slippery, and I was afraid to drive much faster. And there was Nancy going for her daily trek, and I talked her to come in for coffee instead.
Tea.
It is 17 degrees in New Mexico. I guess that's in Fahrenheit. Is that
Yeah,
Fahrenheit?
Fahrenheit. So, for us,
17 degrees is very cold. Is it that cold in Mexico?
New Mexico.
New Mexico?
That is cold.
That's
How far are you from the border? I mean, how cold is it going to be in Tijuana? Never mind. I put that on my phone yesterday so that I could keep in touch with how cold it is for those people that are.
lots of snow. Wow. Are you in the mountains?
Omaha. Oh,
Fahrenheit.
Nebraska. Nebraska is all on an angle. The whole state seems to go downhill from the Rockies.
Yeah, New Mexico's in the States. Yeah, no, sorry, I know I've been to New Mexico. I've been to Mexico as well, and I love New Mexico.
Oh,
It's
that's Lisa Oliverius.
Lisa,
right?
that's my favorite
Hi,
state.
Lisa.
I was about to say province, but it's definitely my favorite place in the United States is New Mexico. I love it. I'd move to those hills if I could in a heartbeat. I love hearing about the weather around the world. Whenever I call somebody, uh, any kind of service phone company, and I hear a different accent, I ask them where they are and what's the weather like where they are. I travel through other people. Anyway, it's your show.
Well, anyway, we were talking about. I can't see who else is here. I'm sorry. But so we were talking about um, why is it? Why is it that we are so much alike? Like she put a curtain over a stick. She just put a piece of a curtain which she cut apart from another thing, and over a stick, and that's what I would do. Like I found all those cedar trees, right? And I left the little roots on, and so then I used straps and a screw and my drill, my impact drill, and anyway, and I do that. But other people don't do that. I don't know people that do that. They have bought things that might be pretty cool, but they're not made from. They didn't make it, but she does. And
Well, I think I know why. Well, first, there's three reasons for me. I'm an artist, so I think and do things differently. I create, so not a lot of people create. People don't create; they buy something that's already existing. Um, and then I'm an earth child, so are you. We both like being outside, and we see all the things that we already like out there, and we want to bring them inside because really we'd rather be outside, so we bring the outside in. That's one, two things. And for me, it's been economic. I've been a single sole support parent of a special needs son for 27 years. And man, the gifts of learning to survive creatively, I've become an incredibly creative person. Really. Now, even if somebody handed me $1 billion, yeah, sure, I'd buy some stuff already made. And I probably wouldn't cook very often, but I'd still be making art and making things from nothing. I just have better equipment.
it's funny because I don't think of it at all as art. Like I pulled a piece of birch bark off of the log this morning. I really feel like we're at a talk show. I mean, look at this setup here. I
Yeah,
mean,
we
isn't
are.
this the perfect set? I mean, look at the plant. You couldn't have planned this better.
We have to put a jug of water and then,
And, oh yes, and
stuff
our
and
cups.
yeah.
We have our cups. Herbal teas. What did you call it?
That's called balance.
Balance.
She likes the
I
tea
feel
I
like
gave her.
I'm Ellen.
Kind of bumpy hair looking. Oh, you're Ellen DeGeneres, and I'm uh, I'm Jennifer Aniston.
Oh,
That's it. Cheers.
hello. It's so good to see
How do
you
you
again,
like that
Jennifer.
latest movie I made?
Now tell me about your movie. I know
Oh,
nothing about
hey,
this.
I gotta actually act. Which I don't know how to
Okay, we can edit that. That can be an end.
do.
We'll start anew.
I went to
Hi.
a garage sale and the guy thought I was Jennifer Aniston's sister or something. He says,
Oh.
"Oh my God, got to meet my parents." I'm like, "What?" I was so excited that I was buying their freezer. I did Jennifer Aniston. I used to get Heather Locklear, Jane Fonda.
Oh, I get that woman. West. Diane West. I don't know who she is, but somebody told me about her. Okay, now does this look like the face of Diane West to you?
If you knew who Diane West is, because we don't.
Diane West, for those of you who loved watching Lois and Clark, it was called The New Lois and Clark. No, Superman.
The Superman minus the
Superman,
Superman.
The New Lois and Clark, or something like that. Anyway, it went on for 4 years. It went from 1990 to 1994. And I tell you, I love that movie, that show. He is so adoring of Lois. And Lois is such a, that word. And somehow he's just totally patient with her. She's just a real. And
That word with the B?
yeah,
Oh, yeah?
and she starts out really being like, it's I will do all the talking. You can just sit there. You're an old hack from the country. She's really an awful person. And he's just adorable and wonderful and good. He's totally good. I mean, he's almost like God. I mean, he's just so perfect. He looks perfect. He acts perfect. Anyway, he's
Not like, what's that movie with Will Smith? He plays a drunk superhero. Hancock, because he didn't know his name in the hospital, called him Hancock. Hancock is the name of the movie.
Oh, really? I gotta write
It's
that down.
funny. I gotta see what your comments are because we have to
Oh.
walk over there and I'll tell you what it says.
Okay.
Oh, they have lots of snow from November in the Midwest. Hang on, I'm gonna have to get glasses. Bad
Yeah,
enough.
I
I'm
can't-
looking at a big
we need
screen
it.
and I need glasses.
We need binoculars.
Yeah, I know. Hey, I have a pair. We can do that.
Good. Where are they? This will change
Lisa
our life.
Oliveris says you both beautiful and I love your creativity and humor. Unfortunately, my clients await social work. Have a peaceful, joy-filled day. Ta for now. How funny! Okay,
Isn't
I'll
that
get
great?
where are the
Binoculars.
yeah, hang on.
You would be the one that knows that. Just saying, I don't. I like how you got your earrings hanging from the lampshade. I hang them from various places. Screens work very well. You don't even have to put in a new screen. You can just open your window, hang them all on the screen. Don't you think that's a good idea? So who's there now? How many people are we got? 2,
What are you looking at?
3? How many people?
Does it say that there's a
Yeah,
how
see,
many?
right up, right where I'm pointing. See,
Three.
right there.
3.
So who are they? There's Lisa and there's
Right.
Rachel.
Lisa, the Book of Uma.
oh yes.
And that was it. And Lisa left, so we're 2 now. Because
Okay,
she had
so
to
what
put
are the last ones? Who are they from?
Lisa.
Oh, Lisa. Okay. Lisa's a wonderful person. I
We
don't
get
think
lots
she's
of
the
snow about November
Oh,
through
it's-
April. That's the same as here.
same. The fur on the front of that makes your hair look like it's long.
Longer.
Yeah, I mean, it makes it look like
Oh,
it comes
yeah.
all the way down to the end of the
I
fur.
want my hair to come all the way down like that. I want it to get past my boobs, down about here somewhere. I see myself as an old lady with a big fat braid that goes on forever. That's what I want to dye with, a big long braid. I'll probably
Nice.
have to do stuff
My
with it.
hair. I
Yeah.
suppose this is a symptom of age. Oh yes, There's evidence that I am old. do you want to know? I mean, everybody out there looks at me and they already know it. But I am not convinced. I'm just me. And anyway, I have hearing aids, and they really make a big difference. I cannot see.
You know you're old when.
That's it. You know you're old when you wear hearing aids,
Well, I'm hot
and
flashing.
then
How's
you
that?
lose them.
You lost them?
One.
Oh shit.
Can't say that on Nancy today.
Oh, sorry. Delete.
Edit. There we go. It was a lot easier editing that way, don't you think?
Yeah. See, it's gone, isn't it?
It's gone. Clip.
Oh, wow, that's funny. Well, no, I don't think they were old. I think they were toxic. Because when you remove toxins, the signs of aging disappear. So if you
Well,
cleanse
that's
every
true.
once in a while,
Well,
like
also
long
sugar.
fast.
My sister is the one that did the research that linked aging with sugar.
Right. So
My
your
sister did that.
so her
all by
sister-
herself. Well, maybe she
Look
had
at my hair.
elaborate.
What's with these bumps? This is a funny profile.
Oh
Anyway,
no, it's not you. It's the pixels. it's pixelated.
Oh, okay.
So that you have a square
Looks like
head.
I got this square thing on my head. Anyway,
yeah, okay.
her sister is a famous scientist to do with rejuvenation or anti-aging, right? What's the word? She's
Longevity.
Longevity. So a cellular
She's been
biologist.
scooped up by Google. Google has been going around the world scooping up people, scientists that are very good in the longevity field, the top of the field, and creating a company and working on longevity. Their goal is to have that everyone would live an extra 100 years.
Wonder how that's going to tie in with AI. Just keep us living forever. It's here. AI is here. But anyway,
I don't want to live forever. I think that what's the next adventure is this one is really dark compared to what we're going to be in. We won't be in rooms that are dark. You know, everything will be filled with light. Maybe if you like dark, you get dark. I don't know. I like light, so I'll have light. And it's he said that we have mansions there, and that people that have died and come back said that that there were mansions and people that liked birds had no roof on their mansion, and people that like whatever it was they liked, their mansion reflected that. And so my mansion would be in the forest.
that is a mansion
It
already.
is.
It is already.
It is. Anyway, so I don't know what we do over there, but I think it's going to be pretty cool.
You show people the cool socks you make.
Oh yes, these are some other ones that are on top of my socks because my socks are all either have holes in them and need to be darned.
You know what would be cool after they wear out at the
In them.
toes or the heel like that is just cut it off and put a new bottom on. Or like these
Right,
things
but
from the
that's-
dollar store, they're socks, but they have this extra thing sewn on them. They're actually double layered. They're pretty
Maybe what
cool.
I should do. This is felt on the bottom. Oh no, it's not. Oh yes, it is. Isn't it? They've got dots of plastic.
Yeah, but
right?
you could do
Glue.
the felting,
But yeah, I could felt a bottom.
and they would probably last longer.
That's right. I could needle felt. Oh, what a wonderful idea. She's just saved my whole problem of mending socks. I'm gonna felt the bottoms.
So you don't have to darn like
I'll
the old
just-
days. You don't have to say darn it. You can say felt it. And I didn't use any bad words, which I do a lot.
Oh, I try not to.
Apparently not allowed on this
Nancy
program.
today. Yes, I try and keep this as high quality as possible.
You know that the most intelligent people swear the most? When I heard that, I went, oh, that explains it.
Now, what did that mean?
The-
You did your thumb and then you put it on your.
oh, I'm so hot that when you're,
Oh,
I think I saw that on Seinfeld with Elaine. It's one of my favorite shows. I miss shows like that. I haven't done TV in a decade now, and what's really cool about that is when you're checking out at the grocery store and all those magazines, it gets to the point where you haven't a clue who those people are. And it's awesome. It's like, who are these people? Oh, there's some new drama with this new group of people, right? New soap operas and new whatever, or the new royalty folks, or who divorced who in Hollywood, and who's sleeping with who. I don't care anymore, and it's awesome. Okay? So back,
When my children were little, and we had a television, and we got cable just for fun,
Yeah.
see how it went, and they wouldn't come to the table, and they fought over shows, and they fought over the remote, or I don't think we had a remote back then. Well, maybe we did. And I said, if you don't come, I'll turn off the power. And so they wouldn't come, and I had the power box was in the kitchen. That was an apartment in Ottawa. And so I turned off the power. Whole room, everything went dark, right? And they all, what? And they all came to dinner. right? So that's what I would do, and but it wasn't enough, and I was tired of doing that. We only had it a month or something, but I thought this is no good. My children are learning things that are not nice, and they are not coming to dinner, and they are fighting. And so I turned off the cable, and I don't think we've had it until we have a smart TV right now, which we got last year.
What was the
we
reason
never
why you
had
asked me
TV.
if I had smart TV or not?
Um,
Because
because to me, smart TVs are so cool. You can you can subscribe to things. It's like your laptop, only it's over there, and you use your clicker, and you can go pick Netflix or YouTube or Sky News or AP News or CBC or whatever you've added and you want. RT, so the Russian news, and Al Jazeera. I try and get the news from all the sources because I don't find that I'm always hearing everything from the local sort of stuff. I don't know.
fake media people.
Yeah, well, it's hard to tell what's right and what's not because I'm not there. If I go there and I see it, then I say, yes, that's right.
Have you ever been in an event that was on the news and watched how it got twisted? Have you ever had a production of some kind where you invited the news and then you see how they paint it and it was nothing like what was going on?
Oh, yeah. I had a bus accident. I was a bus driver, and there's an S curve up the road where the township line changes. It changes. Anyway, so it's an S curve up that road.
I'm gonna go see your notes while you're telling me this. Yeah.
And so a pickup truck didn't make it around the corner. And
All right, the book of Uma is here.
hi, Uma. She is far away.
Where are you?
You're in New Mexico or Pennsylvania.
Oh, she said that already. Hang on.
Where did she say?
Did she?
Iowa.
New
Illinois.
Mexico.
New Mexico.
Yeah.
Oh, so that's who said it.
Yeah,
Okay.
Yeah. That's right. There's two people in New Mexico. Where were we?
New Mexico sounds really nice. I was on a bus ride once. And
Oh, you're
through
talking
New
about your
Mexico.
bus driver and the news thing. New
Oh, yeah.
Mexico's way more interesting.
I guess this one has to be mended too. Felt it.
You know what you'll have to do? Give me one for a second.
Now, this may cause me to get a cold foot.
Oh, I'll stick it underneath that thing.
I know I have
Oh,
two
is that
socks.
ever nice and thick and woolly? But what I'm thinking is, if you were to put something on the outside, right? You're on the inside. You're still going to feel where the holes are, and your feet can get stuck in those holes. So you probably have to, at this point, put something on the inside. Like I won't turn it inside out, but put it on the inside and on the outside, so double layered.
Oh, and you can felt it to each other through the fabric.
Sew them to each other, so you make a sandwich out of your sock.
That's a good idea.
I wonder what kind of fabrics you could use that would keep you breathing, stay
A
warm.
wool. Oh, you just use fleece.
Just
So
do the
you
felting
take
on the inside and the outside. Then you're gonna have
Yeah,
thermal.
I made a pair of
Thermal
mittens the other
socks.
day because I had this big bag of fleece, and so I was pulling it and separating it. Keep pulling it, and all the nature was falling on me, right? And so then I had this pile, and then I thought, what if I, instead of making big balls out of it to spin and make yarn, why not see if I could make a mitten? And so I just kept putting it around and around and around and around.
Just loose yarn.
It's
Loo-
not. It
loose
wasn't
wool
yarn.
fleece, you mean?
It's just fleece of fibers.
Wow.
So you put them all going that way, and then I put them all going this way. So I looped it and looped it and looped it, and I just kept doing that. And then I went the other way again, and it was about this big, right? Really big. It was quite an enormous thing. And I went to the sink, and I put it in the sink, and I took some hot water on my fingers, and I sprinkled it on, and I took some soap, homemade soap, and I put it under the water, and I dribbled the soap on it, and then I gently, it's very loose, and so now that the fibers are sticking to my hand as well, right? So I very gently just did this, and then I when it started to stick together a little bit, then I would keep going like this. Then I filled it with hot water in the sink, and I put a lot of my homemade soap in there. And so then I just let it sit there, and I just kneaded it. And I hadn't washed the fleece yet, and so the fleece was filthy, right? All the lanolin and everything, and so it was working in the grease. I like to spin in the grease, and because it's nice on my hands, the lanolin. But anyway, so I kept doing that until it got smaller, and then the water was turning brown, right? So I would move my hand, let all the stuff go down, and I would slide back over it, fill it up with more hot water, and I just kept doing that. And in about less than half an hour, I had a mitt that was tight against my hand, perfectly shaped, had a hole in there and a hole in there, and it was just perfect. And it was made out of, it was about this thick each layer. I mean, and so I have now got a pair, because I did on that into. I have a pair of mitts. They only come up to here, so I have to make a big thing for them, band.
Yeah.
Because it's shrunk. It was up to there when I made them, but now it's up to there because you see the fleece all shrinks, and the reason you put them like this and this is because the fibers have barbs on them, and so when you do that, then the barbs hook onto each other, and they get closer and closer, and the wool shrinks, right? The hot water shrinks it, so it's agitation and heat, or what? And so that's why I don't wash it first, because I don't know how to get it clean and dry without agitating it in some way. I don't want to wreck all my wool, so I just do it this way first. And so when I make rugs, like this rug, I can make this on my loom. It wouldn't be this big, but so I make it with fleece.
Look at the one underneath that one. Look back here. This one.
Oh, that's a shag.
That's wool. It's if you run a vacuum cleaner over that, it comes off right away, and you fill up your canister immediately. But the reason why there's so many carpets in this room is because we're in Canada. I have 3 carpets in my living room floor because there's no real foundation underneath this building here, this part of it. It's too cold, so I put lots of carpets.
It's a good idea because it's very soft on my feet.
But I wanted to, why don't you put that back on so you're not cold?
Oh.
My parents, we went to New Brunswick when I was a kid, and my dad learned how to make fisherman's mitts. And so the fisherman's mitts are very, very, very thick wool mitts. And
Yes, and they're wool, and
but
that's
what they
right.
do, listen to this. My
But
parents made them for us because we come from Quebec City and it's cold. And he says it doesn't matter if you get wet as long as you can stay warm, right? That was the whole principle for the felt inserts on the boots, because even if you got wet, it was wool and you stayed warm. So you might have shrink.
Why do they say that? I have my wool homespun yarn.
Yeah.
And I made these very big, wonderful mitts.
Yeah.
You've seen them,
Yeah.
right? And if they get wet, if I move my snowshoe with my hand, do the straps, if they get wet, my hand is cold.
Okay, so I think it's the thickness. So fishermen's mitts, when we were little kids with tiny little hands, my parents were making mitts like this big, like massive mitts. And so my mom would knit those up. And then my dad and mom, and they were instructed by the East Coasters how this works, the fishermen. And they'd go under cold water and rub the mitts. And they would become felt really quickly. And these mitts got to be 1/4 of an inch thick.
So this
And
was
they
made
were
out of wool
stiff.
yarn?
Yeah, so knitted like your socks,
Okay.
only purposely made bigger to shrink them.
Right.
And they would get them down there, the kids' size mitt from a big mitt that they shrunk. And they would be, swear to God, 1/4 of an inch thick, these mitts. And so if you went outside and you were playing and you got wet, you still stayed warm because they were such thick wool. But I mean, now, now we have all kinds of things to repel water and not. But I mean, at least you didn't have a synthetic fabric against your skin, right? Like, I've been getting rid of like huge wool sweaters and stuff because they're so heavy to wear, and you can get so much other things now to stay warm, like thermal undergarments and so on, and you don't have to wear such heavy things, just like winter coats. My winter coat that I have now, I couldn't get over when I got it. It's no freaking heavier than a garbage bag. And I thought, this can't be warm. It is so warm because it's down, not feather. It's like the weight of a garbage bag. But before that, I would have worn a sheepskin coat to be that warm, but I wouldn't have had the mobility, and I would have been worn out from carrying the weight. Now I take sheepskin coats and I cut them up and I give them to the raccoon.
So he can sleep on them?
She sleeps on them, yeah. And she needs on them too, and she'll bite them apart, and it's part of her hibernation.
I'm going to check and see who's saying something. I am really crunchy today. You know what I did yesterday?
What?
I had this baguette and I thought it was gluten free. It said gluten free. And then I read afterwards it had buckwheat in it. Buckwheat's not gluten free.
It depends
And-
what.
And I ate this thing and I was so bloated and it was like all the way out to my sides. That's where my hips used to get it
So
from.
you're vegan and grain free? Like, what do you eat? Just green vegetables?
No. Okay, so let me see who have we
You
got
want
here.
these glasses?
Hi, Uma. So believe it or not, I've never seen a raccoon.
I'll stay with you while she's reading the screen. So there's a bigger screen in my
All right,
living
so
room.
we have to get rid of this person, and then we have to.
What do you mean?
Well, that's a terrible thing that somebody wrote.
What do you mean?
All right, well, we won't worry about it. It says show or hide, so we're gonna hide it. See, we don't want to read that. We don't want anyone to read crap like that.
What did she say? Something
It was
about a
just-
raccoon?
No, it was a.
Somebody said they'd never seen a raccoon and wouldn't want to something.
Never mind. It was just. It was not. It was not.
Should I explain to your other viewers?
Who's here? How many people are here? 2. Hi, is this Uma? And are you having fun? Is this nice? Do you like coming and hanging out with us? Did you want some tea? Do we need to make some more tea for
Tea for everybody?
Tea. Well, let's not get up
Here
yet.
we go. Here's the teapot for you. Here's these beautiful, priceless little cups that I brought out and polished just for you. And would you like to pour for them? This nice,
Here,
beautiful
let me
pot?
pour. Let me pour.
Okay. That one's for New Mexico.
And would you like a square of sugar?
the
We
little
had
tongs.
the
One
tongs.
lump or two. And are you wearing your white gloves, you ladies? You know, you have to wear white gloves and be pretty and make sure that you keep your knees closed and skirt over top and be proper and sit up straight and mind your manners. We're ladies. I can't swear at all.
But we don't want them to hear us.
You never cuss. She doesn't cuss for real ever. She doesn't cuss at all. I've been a scrapper. Well, you know, I kind of chalk it up to self-expression. And besides, these are just words. What does it matter, right? But it depends on the intention and the frequency behind it, I think.
That brings me back to artist.
Artists.
And you were saying you were calling yourself an artist and doing art. Now, if I pull a piece of birch bark off a log and sit there and try and pull the layers apart because I'm going to make a basket or something with it, is that art?
Yeah.
Is that being an artist?
You want me to share the difference between the two major distinctions in population, in my view? And I don't think I'm the only one having this view. And I hope you can hear me from there. And it's a funny conversation, but it's the 2D, 3D conversation. So I had my son tested when he was younger, and same with me. We're 3D people. So people who have dyslexia, anything to do with learning differences, ADD, tend to be 3D thinkers. And the 3D thinkers have trouble with 2D language because there are, I forget if it's 217 words, 200 something amount of words in the English language that do not have a three-dimensional representation. So I'm giving you sort of an idea between the two types of people, how they think, how the brain works. So I don't know how a 2D person, I don't know what reading something and only understanding it conceptually is like, but a 3D person will read something like the brown horse jumped over the stone fence. Okay, the 3D person that read that given that they could stay on the page with the words like the and brown that don't have a 3D. Okay, that person's mind wants to go and visit things in the round. That's why we can't sit still in a chair at school, because kinetic, experiential learner, and visual. So let me try to tie this in. So
this is interesting.
um, so when I read the brown horse jumped over the stone fence, this is what they tell us. We're seeing so much. We're seeing the horse in the round. We're seeing the puffy blue, clouds, the blue sky, the tree in the background, the grass growing between the rocks, every single part of that whole scene, right?
And the split rail fence.
In a
with
split
the holes
second,
in
we
it.
saw the whole thing. But somebody who's a 2D mind, and that's 80% of the population, at least 80, because we're no more than 20 with 3D. Those people are your everyday person. They read something like that. They're understanding that there's a horse jumping over the fence, but they're not seeing the movie playing through their head. They're not. And I don't know what that's like, because I'm not one of those people. So we learned this through the Davis Dyslexia Correctional Program. And the people that they use to execute this program for the 3D person cannot be a 3D person themselves. And they're totally in awe of the 3D person, as opposed to putting them down and wanting to put them on Ritalin because they can't sit still. They show them how much more expanded their mind is. So if you ask a bilingual child, a young person who's learning two languages at once, okay, and this, I have a degree in this as well. So like if you ask a bilingual young person, a person in French immersion, let's say, a question, they take longer to answer, and the assumption is that they're less intelligent, but it's not the case. They're more intelligent in a way, because they're learning two languages, two cultures, but they have vast more, hang on, more information to consider in the question than a unilingual person, because they're not considering another culture, they're not considering another language, they're not considering anything other than sort of like the one thing, right? So as a 3D person is the same way. Um, um, where did we originate this question from? I want to try to tie it all in together, because I haven't really talked about it this way before.
This is fascinating. 3D and 2D.
Yeah.
See, I'm 3D.
You're
also.
3D, and that's one of the
And-
things. You're 3D, you're Earth child, you're ADD for sure. And
ADHD.
And ADHD is a sign of high intelligence. It means that the regular mundane programming of assimilate this information because we said so is not going to fly with you. And that same ADD person can't sit still, because their mind's eye is moving and they're kinetic. Okay, so we know now we have special education for people like this, but this is the way it should be. You get them up and moving, get them involved in activities with the learning. So you take a Waldorf or a Montessori approach, they have the kids physically doing the thing that they're learning. In fact, it's been in, I think it's Switzerland or Sweden, the kids only go to school for an hour or two a day. They're learning through play. And they say that they've always been able to learn much more through play. Children are geniuses that we've then squashed down. They're geniuses, right? So let them learn through play. Anyway, trying to tie in the 3D thing. Anyway, it was.
I wanted to say something else about the 3D thing. Maybe it'll come to you while I'm talking. But I've always had a hard time reading. Like, I can't read fast. I don't know if anybody else has that. But I can't read fast because I have to picture every darn word.
That's why.
So, like, if you've got a list of virtues, patience, love, charity, kindness, benevolence, whatever, all these different things. And I have to think about each one. I have to think patience. Oh, yes, that's when you don't scream at your kids. All this stuff is going through my mind when I'm processing these words.
And we
Otherwise-
process much more deeply too. So you're a thinker, you assimilate information and you take it right into you. We're more easily hurt and traumatized because we feel so much more, because we process so much more deeply. And fact now. I can tie in some science into this. Forget the name of the woman, Elaine somebody came up with it's really cool. The movie Sensitive. Take a look at the movie Sensitive. I actually had a copy here, but I don't know where it is. I waited 6 weeks for that movie to show up because I saw the trailer and I just bawled my eyes out. I felt so gotten, so gotten.
Oh, is this about being an empath?
Yes.
My two daughters say that they are empaths, and I wonder, I think I'm an empath, but I don't really know the definition.
So a sensitive is somebody that processes everything so much more deeply. So war going on, right, affects us because we feel the reality of it. It's not just a concept; it's real. People are dying, right? Eating meat, right? Okay. So no matter what you were raised as, at some point, if you're this kind of person, you're going to really question the lives of the animals that you're taking for your own. You process that information
kids
deeply.
all
You don't just say
gave up
that's the way
meat.
it is.
Oh, at
Right?
least my girls, I believe they gave, when little children,
Yeah.
when they're big enough to talk about it and they find out that this hamburger is a cow,
Yeah.
and they wouldn't eat it anymore. There was a lot of that. But I don't think it lasted very long because
They're programmed by society that it's okay.
Yeah. But see, that's what happened to me. I decided I didn't want to eat meat. I thought
Because
that
of the
we
love
could.
of animals, right?
Well, yeah, and now my reason is different. It's all just because of whatever it's happening in my house.
Yeah.
So I just go with the flow. But when I thought about it, when I lived on the farm, we didn't use anything that was from animals. So there was no eggs, or well, it was vegan, but we called ourselves vegetarian because that's before they changed the word. The definition of vegetarian now means you eat meat, just
I
only
know,
certain kinds.
I thought before vegetarian meant that you didn't eat any flesh, but you ate eggs and dairy. That was my original understanding of vegetarian in contrast to vegan. But then people started to say, well, but I eat chicken. I'm vegetarian, but I eat chicken, I eat fish. I go, well, how's that vegetarian, right? Vegan is no exploiting of any animal at all, not even
See,
honey.
that's what we did, yeah, because honey was robbing the bees.
Yeah.
Yeah, so we had
Yeah.
everything came from, and so we didn't wear leather. We didn't have leather shoes in the winter. We had running shoes or Keds. It was in Tennessee.
See, I would like to do
Anybody
that.
else here? Who's here still?
I'll check your group here.
Oh, is that Lori Lulu or something?
Lee Humphrey Fry, I got a bone.
A bone? What are you going to do with
The
it?
Book of Uma says such sweethearts. Optimistically cynical. Message automatically held for review. Okay. That was the not nice thing about the raccoon. Well, I'd like to talk a little bit more about that for 2 seconds. Not about the nasty comment because I didn't really see it. But since we're talking about animals and consciousness, I've just always been somebody that animals come to. Since I was a tiny little kid, animals come to me when they're in need, and I help them. And I would be devastated if my mother wouldn't allow me to help them. I mean, anything, a bug, a snake, a raccoon. Anyway, once I got old enough and moved out, it was like, well, I can do this if I want to. Then it was like, all right, I got to deal with certain laws and so on. But anyway, the raccoon that's living with us now, and she's part of the family, is disabled. Her back legs don't work. She's in a permanent jackknife position. And people say, oh, that's sad. No, it is not sad. She doesn't know the difference. She hasn't been with her own species since she was about 2 months old, where she would have naturally, it was happening already. That's how she came to me. The family was able to be mobile and she wasn't, and the dog nearly killed her. I've been playing it by ear over time, trying to figure out if I can create quality of life. But she is my buddy, and she's my little nocturnal friend. She's doing great, but for the most part, well, almost every other case, the animals are raised to be released, and they have what I call a soft release system, where they have a doggy door at some point where they come and go, and they eventually leave home permanently when they're ready, just like our kids. And that whole thing about animals imprinting and they won't leave home, that is not true. Our kids imprint on us and us on them, and they leave home. All animals do. And if they decide to stay, it's a different choice. It's not because they're dependent or unless you didn't teach them how to be self-sufficient. Like all the animals that I raise, other than this raccoon, are raised to be self-sufficient and go back to nature. Just like our kids, they eventually go off if they're equipped. that's my thing about wildlife. And I love every living thing. And you look in the eyes of any living thing. I mean, God, if plants had eyes and hearts like we see in animals, I don't know how we would be alive at all. Eating would not be possible. But, um, which brings me to,
I was wondering what it was like to be a tree the other day.
I've had communication with trees.
I was wondering, I thought it would be really boring to stand there and be a tree.
It's not.
And then I thought, well, there's a lot going on, isn't there? They've got the mycelium taking and bringing things just under the surface. And they've got in their own structure, they've got bugs and birds. They're giving landing points to the animals, climbing, and but also within their own body system, they've got their leaves. This whole chlorophyll thing is going on, or not chlorophyll. What's it called?
Yeah. The manufacturing of
Chlorophyll, but there's
of
a name
energy.
for the thing.
what, the system?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, right. Phyto something. Photosynthesis.
Photosynthesis.
I don't know why am I blank.
Right.
God.
Photosynthesis. Anyway, so there's all this photosynthesis going on, and I was trying to figure out if it's voluntary or involuntary system. Do they have to pay attention to the bird just nibbled on my leaf? Now I don't have quite as much. I need to grow another few leaves. I'll just grow them on this branch.
I think they're very, very aware. I've done a lot of work in tuning into nature that way, and with shamanism, the trees can tell you about your life. They're like wisdom keepers. They're very aware. They're aware of the bugs that land on them. They're aware of you touching them. They hold hands below and above ground. When you chop down a tree, like I came from a neighborhood where they were building monster houses, and they chopped down a whole line of trees, and it had been an ancient line of trees, but one section for a property was cut down, and I was babysitting my friend's house next door, and it was really wild what I picked up one night. They were mourning the loss of their brothers and sisters that had been cut down years before, next door. Like they're so connected for their entire
And you
age.
felt that?
I felt it, and I felt their holding of their hands above ground. I could see it, but I didn't know that they were doing it through the roots below ground. And then the other thing that happened that night was they wanted to come inside with us. They want to be with us. They want to be with us.
The trees do.
Yeah, yeah. So the plants, they feel. It was because I had this crazy experience one night. I thought for sure I had gone insane. I was. I had an experience called enlightenment intensive, so I was sensitized. I had peeled down enough of the sort of fake layers of myself to be able to have this, but I wasn't prepared to have it when it happened. And luckily, I was able to reach out to people that gave me the right information. But I was sitting alone in my living room, and I heard a symphony begin. And I thought it was my neighbor at the time. The neighbor's house was not that far away, and I thought, wow, it's 11:30 at night. Why is Danielle having music on so loud? That's not like her. I thought maybe something happened, needing to work out something. But I opened up my door and I listened, and there was nothing outside. Oh, that's weird. Where's this sound coming from? And this was just when halogen lights had come into existence, and I had one on the desk beside me. So I thought maybe it's the halogen lights. I turned it off. No, I could still hear it. I had a laptop on, turned it off, unplugged it. Wasn't that. Had a space heater, turned that off. Wasn't that. I was eliminating every single thing in my house and going, what is this? And I heard it louder and louder. Anyway, at some point, I went back to work on my laptop, and it started again. And I'm like, what is this? And it would come and go, come and go. And I realized it was my consciousness. I was tuning in and tuning out of something that was always there, but I wasn't hearing it when I was sort of in my analytical mind. And when I would pause and reflect and be in some other aspect of myself, then this music would come in again and really loud. So I started to pay attention to it and going, this is an unusual piece of classical music. It's not like regular classical music that has, you know, um, a chorus and then another body and then another repeat chorus and some parts that repeat. It was very organic. It changed. It never went back to an original.
It did or did not?
It did not. It
No.
did not go back to an original beat or tone or rhythm or sound. It just kept evolving. And I thought, this is interesting music. I've never heard music like this before. Anyway, something made me turn to the plant that was right beside me on my desk. And when I tuned into the plant, the music, like one instrument got louder. And I went, oh, no way. This is not happening, right? And I looked at the plant again, and it got louder. And I had a whole pile of plants and trees in my then living room, um, like big tropical plants in there. And I looked at them, and I noticed it got way louder. And I was so freaked out. I stood back, and I stood away from the group of plants in my house. And I went, no way, this isn't happening. This isn't happening. And I thought, well, if I'm crazy, there's nobody here to find out. I'm going to play with this and find out what's going on. So I thought, I definitely identified that they were making the music, and it was a correlation of all their sounds together that made it a symphony. But then I thought, oh wow, they're saying something to me, and I thought, okay, they want to get away from the baseboard heater. It's too hot, it's too dry. But it wasn't the heater. But they did want to be moved, so I was starting to move these plants, and I was moving them by the sound, and it was like tuning a guitar. They wanted to be, and when the sound got a certain way and got really loud, I knew I had it right. Then I stood back and I got this wave of gratitude from the plants, and I went, oh wow, this is something else. Anyway, I ended up writing to this scientist friend of mine and saying, what is this? What the hell is this? And he's the one that told me about a professor 25 years before, so now it's got to be like 40 years ago, who wrote The Secret Life of Plants. And he talked about this in the book. And this man that I was writing to about it had met him. And so then he says, I need to introduce you to somebody. And it was a musician, and she went by the name of M. So in typing, it was that squiggly line, M, squiggly line, and that was her name. And so he connected me to her, and she wrote to me, and she said, wow, you're pretty special to be one of the people that can hear that. But make no mistake, there's still burning witches at the stake. Keep this to yourself. And I went, wow. So I got validated to not be crazy, that I was picking up something, and that it was special that I was able to do this. Um, what did it do for me after that? There's only one real thing, I guess, that's prominent in me is when I brought in, like I harvested my garden that year, one of the plants was that was talking to me was a pepper plant, because the pepper wasn't big enough yet, and it wasn't gonna make it to fruition because the cold had started. It was the fall, so I bought the plant. I uprooted the plant, put it in a pot, and brought it in the house. So after the enlightenment intensive, and I'm hearing these plants make sounds, I put my hand underneath the bum of this little pepper on the plant, and it said, "How can I eat you?" And it told me. The energy came right up my arm. And in that moment, I got fully that if I did not eat it, I wasted its life, its raison d'etre, its reason to have existed. So the plants want to go back to the all through us. But I don't think it's the same with animals. I really don't think that they want us to kill them and eat them. I think they would gift themselves to us in love, but I don't think that it's natural. I really don't anymore. I mean, I'm a mediator that wishes that I wasn't, and I'm trying to figure out a way to be well and have the protein that my son and I need without eating meat. But we're allergic to legumes, and I was just talking to Nancy about that. That's my dilemma. I gotta find some other way of taking the protein. But anyway,
What did the Book of Uma say?
let me go look. Oh, Lee Humphrey's got a boner. Oh, I misunderstood that. That means turned on.
So we have to delete that one too.
The Book of Uma. I blocked someone for you,
Thank you.
saying terrible stuff.
Thank you.
Must have been the Humphrey guy you were blocking. I'll be right back. I gotta go to wash.
I do too.
Okay, we'll take turns.
So okay. So somebody will Be here and man the post. Look at how my legs go now. I can't believe this is what being. I only weigh 167 now, which is still big compared to people that are the right size. I'm still overweight according to all that stuff. But look at how my legs go together. They used to stick out like that, right? Because I was bigger. Now they just fall down to the side. It's good to wear big clothes so that people with minds in the gutter don't bother to look twice at me. That's one nice thing about being big is that I didn't have to worry about people's motives. It was really true. And I didn't really think about myself, my body size. I didn't go around feeling like I was too fat. I just dressed my body in whatever I liked to wear that I could find that was big enough. I would never wear tight things like knits or anything. Not a chance. Anyway, it's different now. So, have you enjoyed this live event? These live events seem to be happening a lot. Because you know what? It's a lot easier to upload than to make a video and upload it. And I found out that my laptop, I can take my laptop off of the plug so the battery in it works. So I can go in the tent when it's raining and I can sit in there and talk to you and watch the birds, and you can see that I always put bird seeds on my lap.
That was so awesome.
And the birds just come. I mean, I just sit down, and I no sooner sit down and relax, and then a bird shows up, and he's holding onto the doorway, or he'll just come right over and, what, nothing? And then he'll go away. And then reach in my pocket and put some sunflower seeds there.
That's so
My,
awesome.
look at those good
Look at
reflexes.
that reaction.
Oh,
You're healthy.
that's fun. I wonder how far back you can go and still do it. No, it doesn't work back here. Is that because the muscle?
You're hitting a tendon that does that.
Okay, let me go to the bathroom. It's
Okay, I'm
that
gonna
way,
talk
right?
to your group while you're gone. I'm gonna tell them all kinds of stuff about you.
Oh, Sarah Boddington. Oh, hi, Nancy. Just got back from school. Nice to see you. She's in grade 11.
Oh, well, I'm gonna host. I'm gonna carry on her radio or whatever this show is, YouTube show, and I'll tell you what I like about Nancy while she's gone to pee in my bathroom. She's like a big kid, but the wisdom of her time on the planet. She's a wise, intelligent, super intelligent woman, but playful, like self-expressed, and won't allow negativity. I've been going through some difficult stuff, and I'm still purging, venting here and there, and she'll just redirect my thoughts to something positive when we go on our walks. Something we started to do, and she doesn't want to go inside ever. I go outside for little periods of the day, and then I'll come back in. But she'll spend the entire day outside. She said when her kids were small, she'd go, okay, that's it. I'm done being inside. And she'd take dinner and wood and whatever outside, and she'd just start making a fire and peeling the potatoes and get the kids to cook right on an open fire outside. So those kids got to have that all along. And now she's on the grandchildren, who she's making these teepee villages for. And it's so funny to walk on her property. It's like a form of Narnia, where it's nature and fantasy and self-expression and art, and almost anything goes, like in the wholesome way. She's got little bridges and just little centers of makeshift stuff all over the place. Chairs when you want to take a break. There was this cube of styrofoam floating on her pond moat, and she says, "Oh, that's the drifter," because every object has got a name too. And she's back.
Keep going. This is interesting.
So I was telling them about walking around your property, and everything is like. What I like about you is like you have the wisdom of your time on the planet, right? You're really, really smart. You've got a kind heart, but you're like hanging out with a kid, like that self-expression, that freedom to be, you know. like I did a huge amount of training to be able to give myself permission to give myself permission to be self-expressed because I give the example of the 4-year-old that I saw at Tim Hortons. So at some point in childhood, we're told that it's not okay to express our excitement anymore. And then you have to be serious, right? It's like, whatever happened to playfulness, right? Why can't we carry on having our responsibilities and still be playful, right? Um, I was in Tim Hortons one time in my old town. I moved to this part of the world, 400 kilometers away from where I was in May. Anyway, so my old town, I was on a Saturday at Tim Hortons, and there was a bunch of people in the lineup in front of me. But there was this little girl with her daddy on a Saturday morning, and she had on like a little pink skirt, and she had, you know, running shoes with the Velcro, but she had pink sparklies. There was this pink thing going on with this little girl, and she was standing, just, you know, looking at the donuts, just wiggling, could barely contain herself, and she just couldn't wait to get up to the counter because she wanted to have the donuts with the pink sparkles, total garbage. But anyway, she was so excited, and it was so awesome to watch her just trying so hard to stay contained, wanting to know from her daddy she could have that donut, that pink donut. And so when she gets up to the counter and she finally gets to ask Daddy if she can have that pink donut, and Daddy says yes, she just jumped out of her skin. She did this little dance. She was woo-hoo-hoo-hoo! She was getting the pink donut. And I say to myself, when did it become illegal to do that? I turned around to everybody in the lineup behind me and says, can we do that too? Let's all do that right now. Woohoo! We're going to get a coffee. We're going to get a donut.
Did anybody do it?
I did. Everybody smiled. When I'm taking a course right now called Prosper Breakthrough Training, and it's really about giving ourselves permission in different parts of life and clearing trauma, which is the feelings that we weren't allowed to feel, letting them come up and feel them fully, and then it's really awesome. Like, it just doesn't hold you back anymore. Whatever obstacles are in your life, you finally give yourself the chance to feel something that you didn't allow yourself to feel before. Inconvenient, bad timing, society doesn't allow it. And I was thinking about that today when I was describing that process to someone. Just my friend's son's funeral. I remember when another good friend of mine came up and we were standing at the casket. When she hugged me, I had the permission in her sphere of just letting it go. But I did it in the room of people that couldn't take what I was doing. And I just let out a natural, really loud wail. And the minute I did that, the whole room went silent and looked at me and I went, oh. And I felt so humiliated doing that. But it was natural. And there are cultures that do that on purpose to not bottle it up, to not have it sit and lodge inside the body so that it becomes some kind of a pain or dis-ease at some later date. Well, I've been letting things come up that way, but I couldn't believe it, how long that's been suppressed. I just thought about it today because the person I was describing this release process about was at that funeral. She was there. She was there when that happened. But anyway, all those kinds of things, they just need to come up. So people that are self-expressed and are not inhibited by what the world says is acceptable or not are healthier, I think.
Mm-hmm.
They're doing better because I think that disease is dis-ease, that it's gone from an energy, an emotion, into a physical manifestation. I really do. I think that about anything that hurts in our body is something that got lodged there. Even if there's a physical reason, like I had an accident, I was hit there, I had a flu, I had a cold. Yeah, there's all those physical reasons, but metaphysically, I think those things came about to show us something, to serve us in some way, right? Anyway, I don't know why I said all that. I forget.
I was thinking about the 2-dimensional, 3-dimensional. Who's here? Oh, now somebody else is talking. Oh, I hope it's...
I'll go tell you.
Now don't read it aloud, just in case you have to just delete it. Those 3 dots on the side are for deleting.
Oh, this is so cool. Uh, one person says, "Can I read it? It's a good one. I need more Nancy in my life. Less inside and more outside. Maybe it's not good to buy cushy shares. Oh, cushy shares? You might as well call that an electric chair because it'll kill you to just stay in that thing. If you don't move around, you will fall apart. I agree with that completely. Uh,
It's very strange to be smaller than my chairs now.
it's Sarah Boddington says, "Hi Nancy, just saying my son's name is spelled Rydian. It
Oh,
was autocorrected yesterday. So A-R, wow, what a cool name.
how is it spelled?
Rydian.
Radian. Isn't
Rydian.
that nice?
Wow, cool name.
Yeah. The names nowadays are all created. People, they're not using old names. Well, some people do, I guess.
I
But
tried
so
to do that.
many use created names.
I thought I created my son's middle name and I found it in a kid's book later on. I was upset. Yeah, that's okay.
Well,
But
anyway, this two-dimensional, three-dimensional thing is very interesting because if I explain to Willem where something is, I can paint him the whole picture. But he doesn't want the picture. He wants,
the information.
yeah, he says, take 3 steps, turn right,
Okay, right.
head, eye level, white, 8 inches across. That's all he wants to know. But I'll tell him, well, it's in the second cupboard up above. Up where we keep the peanut butter? Well, it's in there. Or maybe it's behind what's just above there. And anyway, he can't handle that. He can't do that. Are any of you, your husbands, or are you three-dimensional or two-dimensional?
I was going to say something else about 2Ds and 3Ds. Um,
Well, maybe this is why Willem can never find anything when I tell him where it is.
well, a different kind of awareness.
If it's his own thing and he put it there, he'll know where to go. But if it's in the kitchen and I've been the one that does the kitchen, he's not going to know where it goes.
Oh,
Is.
here's a really good analogy of 2D, 3D people, and this is how it came up in the first place. So, the difference between a 2D and a 3D person, from what I can gather. So, let's say that a 2D person wants to build a custom house, okay? They're going to get a builder. Generally, they're not going to be their own builder, okay? But if they were to be their own builder, still, doesn't really matter. They come up with the catalogs of all the things that the house is going to be built from. They want that kind of handle, they want that kind of counter surface, they want that kind of front door, they want that kind of doorbell, those kinds of windows, those kinds of tiles, those kinds of floors, that kind of driveway, that kind of this. And they got a whole lot of stuff to choose from. It could be everything under the sun. You want glass walls, you want straw walls, you want, round walls. What do you want? Um, and they've got everything to choose from, but they're choosing from what's already existing. That person, that 2D person, generally won't go and invent a whole new way of creating door. That might not be rectangular, and the knob might not be a round knob. It might not be a lever. It might not be anything like what's already existing. It might be a completely new creation. I mean, it's pretty hard to create something from scratch because almost everything's already been done underneath the sun, but um, we're creating. We want a curtain. All we know is that we want to have something on that window, right? And we want something on that window that we like. So we're going to find some objects that we like and we're going to put it up. That's my son's phone, I think, ringing. Look, it stopped. Is it 1 o'clock?
11:05.
Um,
I have to babysit the children in the afternoon.
okay. I got to go pick up Ian, so I leave at around 1:30. I can drop you out of the
Okay.
way.
Oh yeah, that's good.
Is that
Well,
good?
maybe just drop me off at the entrance of the property.
Okay, okay. You
I
got your
know.
walking sticks?
Yeah, I have my walking sticks.
Did you tell everybody about the bear print yesterday?
Yeah, I keep telling everybody. They went right across the pond. They're on the pond.
Was there more than one?
There's one.
Only one.
I followed the tracks though for about a kilometer.
Did you?
Yeah. I went everywhere, and it would go the wrong direction. I'd say, no, don't go that way. You know, I want to be far away.
How fresh do you think those prints were?
I think when I first saw them, they were from the day before,
Okay.
and so that it's been a few days now.
So what day did you see them? Because I think it was 2 days after Ian saw the print at the sugar bush camp. So my son just got a
Let me
job
go
working
get
for
my
a sugar
phone, and I'll
bush,
be able to tell you.
and this company has a parcel of land that they rent to tap maple trees right on the same road as Nancy, and they saw a really big bear paw print in the snow. And I meant to tell Nancy, this was last Thursday, that there's a bear really close by. Anyway, this bear all around here. So I was hoping to see wildlife like that. I wish my house was deeper into the woods because people who have those kinds of settings, they'll have bear walk right across their porch in the morning. It's like, oh my God, I would love to have bears walk across my porch in the morning. I met a woman from this area too that was telling me that she raised two bear cubs, and she says they make such funny noises when they sleep. And she was telling me about sleeping with a bear on each side of her in bed. Oh my God, talk about sleeping with your teddy bears. I would love that. I would love that. I've had up to 4 raccoons in my house with the different cats and dogs and chickens and everything else. That's the most that I ever had, but never a full-size bear. I've never raised a bear. I would like to have the opportunity to get to know coyote, wolf, bear, birds of prey, bald eagle. Maybe one day my house will be a little bit further into wilderness. Right now I'm on an intersection road, hamlet, just a few houses. And there's a big forest right behind my house here. Um, but the animals won't come right into my backyard, I don't think. Maybe if I didn't have a dog, they might. Um, I don't know. Anyway, I don't know where Nancy went. Are you coming back to your show?
I'm coming back. I'm just putting my mittens by the stove because they're wet. And I can't go really have a nice walk.
It'd be cool to do a tour around this place to show them what we mean about 2D and 3D. You know, like I might create something from ideas that I've already seen, but not always. Sometimes I'll just make up something. Um, anyway, my house is full of that kind of stuff. There's not a lot that's normal here.
Oh, I wanted to ask you. I love these carpets. You know, this is a really good idea having 4 carpets on the road.
That's the other day a friend that
It's
dropped in
just
made
so
it.
nice.
He says, your place is pretty cluttered. You got a lot of carpets everywhere. Carpets on top of carpets even. And I thought, yeah, I got a carpet mosaic going on. I like it.
It's good.
a
It's
mosaic.
warm. It keeps it nice and warm. I should do it in my house.
And you know what's
We
nice
have a lot
about
of
this?
children and crumbs and messes. Well, I guess you can vacuum.
Oh, hey, I vacuum all winter long with the raccoon because she's disabled. She'll have little pea spots sometimes, and I can spot wash. But most of these carpets are small enough that I can haul them over to a bathtub and scrub them up. But in the summertime, and this is the ideal driveway for carpet washing, I drag the carpets outside, vacuum them thoroughly. Then I hose them down with the hose and I soak them completely. Then I put detergent on them and a deck brush, scrub, power wash it out. And I used to rent one of those carpet washers just to use the suction to take the water out, and then I'd hang them over a fence. But now with this driveway, it's a hill, so the water just slides down. You just push the water out with the wood side of the deck brush, and then it drains enough that you can pick up the carpet and throw it over the fence, and I can do a carpet a day because it's fence space that I need mostly. And then all of these carpets get completely, thoroughly washed at least once a year.
Wow.
And you can't do that with broadloom. Broadloom is not something that you can pick up and thoroughly wash. You can never ever wash it all the way through because it's on a floor, right? It always creeped me out about broadloom. In fact, I heard a statistic on the radio one time that said that the average pavement outside is cleaner than your average living room carpet because all the different things that breed in there. And with animals, with fleas, right? I can't have that. I I have to take the carpets out and make sure that I can get anything that's in the carpets out. Right? And then in the summertime, the place becomes like very airy. Well, it will. This is my first year here because all the carpets disappear. Then you got to walk around with one of those.
That's fun.
Yeah, because all the fur from any of the pets has nowhere to cling, so it just starts to fly around like dust bunnies around the house. Like,
I wanted to ask you something else. Sorry to interrupt. Oh, I love how you've done the stairs, and I really want to do my stairs. I have this long runner. It's very, very long. It's pink and yellow and
nice.
pastel blue. And it's in great chunks of pink, and then a bar of yellow, and then
Oh,
a
wow.
bar of blue. But it's not
How wide
equal.
is it?
It's about that wide.
And is it meant for stairs or
Yeah,
a hallway?
It's
for
just for my stairs. That's what I wanted it for, was to be the runner that goes up the stairs. But we have so much traffic on the stairs, it'll get ruined in no time. Unless I put something on it. Maybe I could spray it with whatever stain proofing. What's that called? 3M
Z-barding, not Z-barding, Scotch guarding.
Scotch guard. So maybe if I Scotch guard it.
So Scotch guard is good for when you spill something. You can wipe it up. It just beads on it. So if someone dropped fluid on it, but dirt, I don't think. Like it'd be better to have a neutral color runner so that if it
It's-
gets dirtier, like
It won't
or
matter.
oh here's what we could do. We could make a quick release system on the bars that we put on the runner. So depending on how your stairs are, like mine, you have like the fold, you put a bar there, and then sometimes if the stair has an edge, a lip to it, then you have to have another bar underneath there, and then back down. And you just keep doing that right that way, like covering your stairs. Well, we could have it that at least one of the holders for the bar is a quick release, so that you can pop these things off, take the runner, stick it in your bathtub, scrub it down, throw it over your railing in the summertime. Right? You can even have your outside bathtub. Your outside bathtub, you soak it in there with eco soap so that you can drain it out in the forest without any
My
problem.
homemade soap.
Yeah, homemade soap. And then scrub it up, because like I do that with this bathroom here. In fact, I'll take a blanket holder after I've scrubbed up like a runner or whatever, and I'll hang it over top of that in the bathtub till it drains down enough and it's not dripping anymore. Then I'll hang it on my line in front of the wood stove. And then the moisture goes into the house and I didn't have a mess. So I can actually wash carpets all year long in this house, except for the really big ones. Then I have to spot wash
This
until-
is a really beautiful wool rug.
Yeah.
Now I find that underneath the wool, whenever you lift it up, it's totally dust under there.
Yeah, because all the stuff goes through.
I know, it's great.
It's okay, yeah.
Now these things that I've got, this runner I made, it's made out of rag rug. I mean, no, it's made out of mop yarn, is what it is. It's cotton mop yarn.
Oh,
So
that-
each piece is about that long, and I wove it.
You did it.
Yeah.
Wow.
And I wove all these pieces, and I made a carpet.
I got another idea.
Yeah.
Like dirties.
This is so cool.
You
have
make it so that
ideas,
it's
too.
two-sided. So one side gets dirty, you have that quick release system, turn it over, put the carpet back on, wait for that side to get intolerable, then the whole thing goes for a good soak and a scrub. And you've got two sides of it. I used to do that with durries. In fact, every one of these carpets on the floor, except for the shag one underneath, they're two-sided because of the same thing. They're a weave, right? So we just have to devise a quick release for whatever we're going to use as a bar. So they used to use like metal, but we could do it with bamboo. We could do it with anything. It has to be a pretty straight object, and you don't want to be able to catch.
We could do it with willow.
Is willow strong enough, you think? It's got some good bend to it. Bamboo is very strong if you wanted a natural thing. Do you know what else I've got? Dawn gave me cuts of some.
Dowels.
Yeah, they're square dowels. But the dowels would work too. You could buy dowels.
I have, from all the making of the siding for the house,
Yeah.
I have a whole pile of sticks that are about that big.
That might work.
They're not square. They're like the end is cut off the, you know,
Yeah,
I mean,
I'd like to see if it'd work to be on the stairs.
it would be square on two sides. Like it have the 90-degree angles. You could put it into the, so they would work. They're very small.
And then, for the quick release, it might not work out to do it quick release style, but what I used was,
Well,
all
you
round.
know what all you have to do. If you're using these, you just use your
drill.
Use your drill and you put in screws that you can easily take out, and you. Then
You're not going
just,
to be doing it that often, screwing it in, screwing it back in. It's
No.
once every few years, maybe. And once the kids are gone, you're not going to do it again until like
Right.
20 years down the road or 10 years.
It would sure make it look pretty on there.
Why don't we do that as a project?
Okay. Well, that's a good thing. We can do it live, so you can be there if you want.
You want to see us make stair runners at Nancy's house? We'll
Yeah.
do that.
So what do we need? We've got.
I got everything right here. So, in fact, I'll give a demonstration of what we're going
We
to
need
use.
14 of these.
I'm telling
We
you,
have 14
bamboo sticks
stairs.
from the dollar store are the cheapest, strongest thing you can
Okay.
get.
And how much do they cost?
Like you can get a pack of 4 for $1, and they're too long. You'll get a mile out of those because we'll cut them all down.
Okay. That's a good idea. I would really like to have those stairs covered. And that way the children wouldn't slip on them. And if they wanted to slide down the stairs, they could, because it would kind of have that bounce. So who's here right now? Let's see who's here. Isn't this fun? All right, so
I'm gonna spin that thing over to my look.
Shad, what is Shad have?
What?
I've been with you all morning, Nancy, and it's so fun. I know Uma was there in the middle of the night with me. I was out in the teepee, out in the tent in the rain.
Okay, I got to show them the materials that we're going to use to do
Okay.
your stairs. So, drill. These are 3/4 inch screws. Wait a minute, I should be looking down there. 3/4 inch screws. And this is
Oh, yeah.
all round, right?
Yeah.
And you just get those shear things. And for me, I counted it was five holes and cut it. And then I bent it around to go around the dowel. That's going to be, or the bamboo thing. And then just one on either side of the carpet. And I'm going to spin my computer around here so you can see the carpet I just did. And this is like a thrift store carpet. Hang on. Nancy, move a bit so I can show them the stairs. I'm going to try to spin the computer over to showing. Okay, now you can see the stairs. There. So this is, hang on, let me get over here. This is a piece of bamboo right here. And we cut it to fit, and my son did a great job. There's no burrs on the end. That's a piece of all round right over here, and you can't even see it. And even the silver screw, you can't even really see it, maybe because of the shag. And there's just one here, and I actually nailed it at the top, and I nailed it at the bottom because there's a nice thick edge to this carpet, and that's all it was. It was a bathroom carpet, and underneath I got a strip of that anti-slip stuff just to give it a little bit of a grip. This is a wire that we're running for a speaker. We're going to change that soon. We just put in a new TV. Anyway, Nancy, that's all we need. So, like, we can complete the whole job for the cost of some screws and a couple of. Did you want this turned back?
Sure. Yeah, that's awesome. I was looking at your house when I went to the bathroom,
Yeah.
and you have everything it's very organized. You have a good organizing skill. It's not an empty house, but everything is so organized that nothing really traps your attention or overwhelms you, Like in my house, I have a lot of clutter, and it's not organized.
I know why I became like this. I wasn't this way before. My mother used to complain about being a cluttered mess. Well, remember I told you about that
At school.
school, yeah. So I did a degree in fine arts, and my first studio class You know, we made a hell of a mess, and I was about to walk out, and the whole class was about to walk out. Teacher says, "Wait a second, professionals wrap up their project and get the studio back to normal every time. In this case, it's a school, and there's another class coming in, and they need to use the space, and we have to leave it in good shape." But it taught me to do that at home as well, is to sort of powerful completions, is to finish the project by wrapping up the space and be ready for the next thing, so that my thoughts don't get overlapped. But Nancy, for the most part, the reason that happened was because I was a single mom doing a degree, running a cleaning company, and I never had a spare second to myself. And if I had anything that I left behind, I would become so overwhelmed that I would almost implode, because, you know, my life was so busy and so intense.
No,
I had to make
I
sure
can
that I took
remember
away those stressors. Eh?
Well, I really like cleaning up my house, and right now it's very cluttered, and I think it's getting cluttered. Well, that's not the issue. The thing that you said that I hooked into was get rid of the stressors. Oh yes, I drove a bus for a few months till I had a head-on collision. I was doing the right thing. Somebody couldn't make the S curve. That's where that story was
Oh
going.
yeah, yeah.
Anyway,
I almost had that this morning.
yeah,
Yeah.
you got to be so careful if it's greasy. And I was really having second thoughts about sending Desmond on the bus because Lida kept him home the other day because it was greasy like this.
Yeah.
And the day before, there had been a bus that had an accident, and so she didn't dare send them. And I really hope they didn't have an accident.
Anyway, you related because you drove a bus for a few months and that was overwhelming your life?
No, I realized that I could do projects, but I had to make sure that everything was done and put away because I would never have time to do it ever. Whenever I made a mess, I was gonna have to put everything back because I had such a small amount of time in my life.
Yeah.
And I couldn't spend it cleaning the house. But see, instead of cleaning the house, I have the gypsy cabin, I have alder teepee, and iceberg pond teepee, and I have fiddlehead pond teepee. And did I say sedge meadow teepee?
No, but I know that one too.
Okay, so let's start at the beginning. Sedge meadow,
That's the teddy bear one,
that's
right?
the teddy bear.
Yeah.
I took all the teddy bears in
know.
for the winter. I didn't
You
want
gave
to.
the big guy away, didn't you?
I think I gave them all back to the dump.
Yeah.
Because there's no sense me
No,
storing them.
and
I don't have
another teddy bear just like that one showed up after, and
Oh.
it wasn't that one because
Oh.
they told me that one went.
people.
Funny how it stayed in good shape even though it went through rain all the time.
I know, but I didn't take them in until it was nice and dry, and it did dry out between.
Yeah.
Autumn was kind of hard for them, I think. They all kind of needed to be fluffed, but they had a good.
A friend of mine said that we were going to call animal control if she didn't bring in those bears for the winter.
I was going to take a blanket and put a blanket over them.
Yeah.
That would have been cute. Hang a blanket over each one.
We should have put a little poncho and a little hat
Oh,
on
that's
each
right.
one.
We can make ponchos.
Next year.
We'll have to make.
We got a project. We'll have winter bears next year. We'll put snowshoes on them.
Hey, we could put them out in the yard now with snowshoes.
You know how we can make snowshoes? Just like those things that I've got in the bathroom.
Right.
It's just like you
Yeah,
could
just
do
make a
out of
loop out of.
willow
Uh-huh.
or
And
anything.
suddenly they're wearing
Cedar.
snowshoes.
Yeah.
Hey, that's a good idea. And then we can have them. We need to make some people because it's not hard. It's too hard to find people. So we have to make some. And I was thinking of using chicken wire. Have you ever made a person out
Yeah,
of
you
chicken
can make
wire?
it out of papier mâché.
Yeah, yeah. Well, you see, chicken wire is not going to decompose.
Oh, I see.
But paper
What are you going to
mache
coat
will.
it with?
Clothes. I go to the dump and I found one.
What about plastic bags?
I
Since we don't know
found-
what to do with all those.
I found Doris at the dump. And Doris was beautiful. She was long and lanky. And she had a beautiful wooden stand. And she was made out of chicken wire. And she didn't have a face, which was a little bit of a problem. But I was at the dump and I looked at her and I thought, okay, she's about a size 2 or 10 or whatever it was. And so I found some really lovely things. I found a nice evening wear and she looked really good in that. And then you can see her. She's been in the teacup garden for years. I had to get rid of her because my daughter didn't really like her. She didn't think she was. Anyway, things
the
that we
kids?
deal with. People that are. Well, she's
I'm
very.
gonna go read your
three-dimensional.
thing again so you can keep up with your folks. We should have 2 laptops, one that we can have closer.
Okay, so I was saying.
Oh, no. Sarah Boddington said, thanks, that means so much to me. People laugh at his name. Oh my God, no, it's great to have an original name. Good for you. Good for you.
You're just
And
one of
by
us.
the way, my son has part of your son's name in his name, Ian. Sometimes I make up a word of both of our names together, Cindy and Ian, Cindian.
Or
Cindiana Jones.
that's cute.
Anyway,
What were we talking about? We were very intense on some conversation, and then you went over there. So I guess
2D, 3D. Well, we talked about how the
we
difference
need to
between
push rewind. See, that's what we need in life because we are
Oh, we're going to evolve the conversation.
making a
Who cares?
movie right here. You and me today in our lives are devoting this time to spending it in the same room, talking, exchanging
It's like
ideas.
Seinfeld, you know, a show about nothing. It's about every day, right? Here it is, every day.
That's what my whole videos are. It's like 18,000 or maybe more by now.
Videos?
Videos.
Holy cow.
It's just my life and every single thing I did for 9 years. It's been 10, 11 years now. But
You don't even know you're inspiring somebody, eh, until people give you the feedback.
I know.
You
And
can tell me to
people
watch,
people
write a
do
book.
tell me that. People tell me that they were really depressed and they couldn't do anything and the medications didn't work. And they were just in such the depths of despair for a long time, like years. And they found Nancy today. And they have now thrown away their medications and they are happy and they love life.
You know why?
Have
What
lots
depression
to do.
is? You know what depression is?
Negative thinking,
Not necessarily.
being overwhelmed.
Yeah, it's overwhelmed, but it's because you can't see a light at the end of your tunnel. You cannot see something to go forward towards, or there's circumstances that you can't imagine overcoming. You
I got a
cannot
phrase
see
for
that
you.
possibility.
The light at the end of the tunnel is another train.
No, but you know what I mean, like an opening in your life. So I was wondering when I was depressed, like why can't I move forward in life? I know how to manufacture inspiration out of thin air. I think I'm trained for that. But just because I was denying some things in my life that I wasn't willing to look at. And then since this is your show and my son's not home, I can tell you guys why.
Now this is the whole world, and Ian
The whole
might
world.
go look at Nancy today. Only I don't think he'd sit through 2 hours or whatever. I have to make sure that. Oh yes, you're dropping me off. That's right. Oh yeah, I do need to go home when you go because if I'm in the woods, I won't be home on time.
Well, I think I could say this anyway, because I think it's been helping me to actually divulge it, not only to myself, but out there. And I'm just kind of trying this on. But, so 6 years ago, school stopped because you're not allowed to go to school past 21, whether or not you have high school or not. That's the end of the game, and there's no more programs and there's no funding. So I had 2 choices. Either I continue working and then leave my son on the farm to regress and become suicidal again, or I stop working and I figure out how to make it together, and that's what I chose. And I learned how to farm. But what I didn't really acknowledge until starting to acknowledge it now, well, I actually had this conversation the other day. How do you know the difference between holding a possibility for someone? Okay, so holding a possibility is just holding the space for a possibility to come into it. So you become the opportunity. You're holding the opportunistic space for a potential to come into physical. Okay.
Okay,
So
I'd like
holding a
an
space.
opportunity here. I'm waiting for a good inspiration.
Well, you're holding the space for something. So I'm holding the space for my son to become an independent person. I was holding the space for him to get a real high school, to get into college, to have access to the computer world genius that he is, and holding the space for his development to continue, for him to become more able, more everything. And and then how can you tell the difference between this is it, this is as developed as it gets, and this is all that there is to work with. And just recently, I started to come to terms with, well, this could be it. This could be it, and this is my life, and it isn't going to change. There's not going to be some big breakthrough that sets me free to do other things in life. Not that I'm not grateful to be my son's mother, it's just that I expected to be able to be doing other things as well. So coming to terms with that, because you saw me cry about this a while ago, right? Because I'm stuck, I'm in pain, I have all this, like, how do I go on in life? I can't open things up, I can't increase our income, like, or I didn't think I could. The looking at this and becoming and getting straight with myself. What if it's always stayed this way? What if this is it? This is as developed as he can be, which is kind of like a 12 or 13-year-old. And will he ever be able to live independently? That's my biggest fear, is that I'll die and this kid will be scooped by the government. So I've been working so hard to train him to live without me. Really, that's my whole
Life
thing.
skills.
Life skills.
Now, if my son, there are social programs. I mean, there are group homes and
Nothing
things.
fits in.
Right.
Nothing fits in because he's too far developed. He's
Smart.
so high
He's very
functioning.
Yeah.
But the same things that anyway.
Yeah.
So anyway, but I think that the last few days my hips are starting to feel better because like the hips represent hip hip hooray, moving forward in life, feeling supported. And I started to realize it's me. It's not only that I don't feel supported by life, I don't have a partner, I don't have that income to feel secure and supported financially. It's always like this vulnerable place. When I start to realize it's me that I haven't been feeling like I can count on. But I can. I'm strong. I'm smart. I can figure it out. And no matter what life throws at me, I'll make it. Right? But him making it without me was my biggest fear. But you know what? If I get hit by a truck tomorrow, the world will take care of him. And if he doesn't get to keep this house, the world will somehow take care of him and he'll be fine. He'll be fine. And I could just stop worrying. And it's so, that would be the worst case scenario, right? Is that he lives without me and he's not equipped. But I'm starting to feel the blessings. Okay, so if everything stayed the way it is right now, as far as my son's development, and my life, these circumstances stay the same, how bad would that be? What's the worst thing that can happen? That I don't get to travel, I don't get to have, what is it that I don't get to have because of this? I guess lots of different things, but what do I get to gain? Okay, what is this path providing to us? We get to be together, okay? Finally, we get to be together. How beautiful is that, right? I wish I had figured out
That's
how to be
right.
with him earlier on.
Because you were always worried about taking care of them.
Yeah.
You couldn't just be with them.
Yeah. I couldn't, like, some of the beauty I see in you is that you spent time with your kids in the woods, you unplugged them from the TV, you stopped all that nonsense, you recognized it immediately. I was a single mom saying 1 minute, 1 minute, 1 minute, and the TV was a babysitter. It had to be, right?
But look at Ian. Ian is really smart.
Yeah.
I mean, he knows, like, the way he takes apart things and makes new things out of them. You know?
Yeah.
I mean, that's a real gift. He's really 3D.
But I did what you did, but it took me until he was 17 to do it. I unplugged him from the city, I unplugged him from
Yeah, it's hard
not
when they're
computers and all that.
teenagers. They're not necessarily
Well, he's
interested
not. 17 wasn't 17 for him, right?
Oh, okay.
It was different. So it would have been more like 12, right? So when It depends what you're talking about. Depends on what age you could be. So, social development in one area would be very low. Computer expertise, understanding of, geez, that stuff is super high. Um, anyway, I get to raise an Einstein. I must be very grateful, right? And find all of the avenues and the blessings and all of that. Anyway, I don't know why I started that conversation, but
I just had to check
denial.
and see if anybody in the gym.
Denial is what the whole game's been about, coming out of denial. Oh yeah, trying to find the balance between. So yeah, so I did find. I think I am finding a way to do that. So if things never ever change and they stay the way they are, that's one thing. I can still hold a clearing for a possibility, even if it never comes. Right? Not with an attachment. Not with, oh my God, my life will be crappy if this doesn't ever happen, which is what I was doing. I was so attached to an outcome that there was no room for anything else and not noticing what is. So now I'm stopping, I'm looking at the beauty of what is, and I'm still holding the possibility for my son. Because, you know, I'd like to see him get to college so that he has like more advantages in life than a government crappy pension that doesn't even buy you a room in somebody's house or even any food.
You know, I think
That
me
you
and
can live on.
Abraham. Well, Abraham, the way Abraham used to be, two of them would they would get along.
I feel like I'm neglecting the people out there. I'm just going to quickly see if there's.
Hi, everybody. Welcome. How many people are there? One, three?
Three, we got Sarah.
Hi, Sarah.
Sarah said, yes, it is hard to be original and people taking you seriously when you're 14. Sarah's 14?
She's 14, and she's in grade 11, and she has a son.
Awesome. Oh, what a happening woman you are. Yeah, well, you're starting young to do it all on your own. I hope you got support. And don't try to do it all by yourself. Be original, but don't try to do it all by yourself because our kids need more than one person. Two people is not enough. One is definitely not enough. And you see it down the line, the effects of not having enough people. You know, when I was raising my son, I was thinking that, you know, kibbutz, whatever that looks like, sounds like a good idea. Having multiple people raise, like they say, it takes a village to raise a child. For sure it does, because there's so many skill sets. No two people could ever impart all of those things. And the interests of the child may not be in the interests of the parents, and the skill sets of the parents and the skill sets that are supposed to be in the child may not be at all. And so, like, if you have really done your job as a parent, your child will have exceeded who you are. And I'm sure that I have done that. Even though my son has special needs, he has an area of genius that is so beyond my comprehension. I know that I'm not able to comprehend him in that way, in that area. So I can't serve him there. I have to find other people that speak that language or do whatever to stimulate those parts of him, right? Yeah, but when you were talking about like the skills that he has, that's because I pulled him out of the city and I put us in a predicament of having to make it on a farm with nothing. So
Now,
we
how
had to
did you
fix
make
our
it?
equipment.
What did you farm? How did you do that?
Vegetables.
And did you sell them? You're a market
Oh God.
gardener?
So the first year I was just trying to figure out how much food does it take to grow to save for a year. And I didn't know how much that took, and I tried to find information. I ended up growing, so it was the last of my savings being put into the ground as seeds and dirt and fertilizer and all the infrastructures for that, and begging the food to grow. And it took 6 weeks for those plants to come through because I didn't know that I had clay soil and it was too hard for the little seeds to come through. Um, and and I didn't know, but something told me that the earth was too hard, so I just started soaking the water, soaking the soil day and night, keeping it soft. And then boom, one day they came through, and I went, "Oh, that's what's happening. The earth is too hard." So I started actually massaging all the rows and helping the plants come through. The following year, I added other stuff to the soil to make it more soft, and putting some mulch and
That's called dust mulching. When you after it rains, sometimes you get cracks in the soil.
Yeah.
So if you go with your fingers and you just let them go in a centimeter or so,
Yeah.
and you break up all the soil around all the stems,
Yeah.
you know, that's a dust mulch, and that then keeps the moisture from leaving.
Yeah. Yeah.
Isn't that interesting?
Well, it took me a while to learn, but became a pretty good organic farmer. First year I must have had enough food for 15 families.
What I did the same thing. We were dirt poor farmers. Like when I married my first husband, it was a farm that he had just bought, and he didn't have any animals. He lived in town, but he had bought some sows, the pigs that were that were already bred. His parents had bred them. His brother and his parents had the farms, and so we bought things from them, and then we brought them over 10, you know, and then a few more as they would get born, and we started to increase the herd, but there was no added income. There was no money. And so if I did not grow it, we did not eat it. And so he had the tractor, you know, he went all around everything and tilled it up for me. And then he brought a whole bunch of manure and he, you know, whatever it's
We
called.
did all in.
Well, you know, throw it out of the wagon and the
Oh, yeah.
manure spreader. Yeah, and then he tiled it or disked it, and you know, and it was perfect soil. I mean, he had created this heaven in the earth. It was quite wide. It was probably at least an acre, I would think, maybe an acre.
Over an acre of planted food.
Yeah,
2,300 linear feet.
really.
Yeah.
Wow. Well, I had this garden, then I had another one in the black soil down in the muck.
Oh, wow.
But this first garden, this is the first year. This is the one I had, and I had two 22 cubic foot freezers that I filled.
Wow. Well, I had a bank of freezers. I kept having to buy freezers. Now we're down to 2 freezers. And they're not full because we didn't produce food here, but we're going to. I'm on the fence about chickens because I seem to be steering away from animal everything. I don't know if I'm going to succeed at this, but
Well, you
I'd
have
rather
to
not.
feed your chickens
I know
so
all the
much,
caring for
and
them.
I found that the value of the meat or the eggs was never as high as the amount of money that it was costing me to feed them. You know, except on the farm. When I did it back then, and I had a major production, but when I've had chickens at my house, it was I didn't think I was saving money by doing that. Like maybe if I was really interested in that time of having organic eggs, but it
That's the
wasn't.
main reason for us. We can't eat regular store-bought eggs.
Right.
We start to get sick, and even the eggs that we were having from this
But you could
area,
buy
they're
them
not
from
feeding
anybody
them
around
organically.
here.
Right?
They grow right down the road here.
She's not organic, is she? They're not feeding them
Sure.
organic feed. Around here, I have not found anybody.
Oh, you're right. My daughter, I don't think
They're
she's
okay, the eggs, for us in the summer because they're mostly foraging those birds. But as soon as we get it closed up, the eggs change, and we don't feel well eating them, and we naturally start to back off the eggs. But when we had our own eggs, we had limitless. We could eat as many as we wanted. We had really happy chickens too. They had awesome ones. When it got cold outside, we brought them in the basement.
We had-
Oh my God,
we
that
had
was
some
such a
chickens,
mistake. I had to keep them in for the whole winter because I climatized them in the middle of the winter because it got 35 below and they were getting frostbite. Oh my God. So then as soon as I brought them in, I went, uh-oh, shit, should have got a heat lamp. Oh man, I had to work the furnace in a way that I couldn't have the dust going through the system, right? I had this little tent in the basement for them. Anyway, they stayed inside until it became spring. God.
You know, speaking of tents, I have my tent on the deck, right? You've seen my tent? I just love sitting in it. But I have these other tents. They're for children. And they're about this big. And it ends up being a little room that's, you know, maybe 4 feet deep and 6 feet wide. And the curtain in the front is a screen, and it may all be a screen. with a little bit. The top is solid,
Okay.
and then but it's rectangular, so the top is solid. And the walls are screened, and it doesn't close with a zipper or anything. I guess that's to keep children from being scared if you closed it or something, or from zipping themselves in. But anyway, I was thinking when I go for a walk, if I took that along on a rainy day, I could set it up and have a place to sit and not be in the rain.
You know what you should have on your backpack is having like a skinny little, tube of a quick pop-up tent like that with one of those skinny little chair triangle things, and you'd have a chair and a tent, everything in one shot. And with your phone, if it's all charged up, if not, we can get you an extra little battery thing. You could be filming all kinds of stuff from your mobile tent.
I may have to
kind of
get
thing.
more data. I've got 5,000. I've got 5 gigs. Is that right?
Can you just record on your phone and not have it be live and upload
Oh
it
yeah.
later?
Oh yeah.
Why
That's
don't you
what I
do that? Then you don't need
Let's
data.
see. I'll show you. Well, that's what I do, but I've only got 1% left.
I'm gonna
So-
make a isogenic shake. Do you want one?
A shake?
It's a chocolate shake.
No, I can't have chocolate.
Oh, okay. I'm gonna have chocolate now. It's called my breakfast shake. And I'll be right back. And you can hear some noise in the background. That's
Any
me.
new messages on there I should read?
Sarah says, thank you. My son is 1 year old. Oh, wow. Yay. You need to hang out with wise women, okay? Women that are playful like Nancy and can tell you what to not sweat in life, because life is like that. You get stressed out about little things, and if you're older, you go, boy, can't believe I used to sweat over stuff like that. Eh?
You can see why Cindy is my friend, can't you? She's very cool. She does things like I do. You know, I saw some stuff in the bathroom. You can really. Oh, I remember. She has a piece of silk that's over the back of the tank of the toilet. Piece of silk, and it's tied in a knot. You know, like that's really cool. Everything is in its place. Everything has a place and it's in it, and it's very, very good. I have too much stuff and too many projects for everything to be in its place, unless I put it away. I mean, if I put things all away and they go out into the storage thing, which I might think I might need to do. I think I have too much stuff in my house. You know, I haven't played my violin for a long time.
You play violin?
I do. Do you have one? Do you have one?
No, I have a guitar and a flute.
Oh, I could play your guitar.
You can play guitar?
Yeah.
Well, here you go.
Is this the one?
Probably, no, here, this one. This one will be tunable. That one I think's missing strings.
Oh, do I have to tune it?
You might have to.
Oh no. I haven't made the good tune.
Boys coming, but not for long.
That sounds really good, doesn't it?
You know, Sarah, if you can find a way to stay with your son and still make money and stay alive, you wouldn't believe how little you actually need. If I could have done this in reverse, I would have, because I would be thriving now if I'd have been able to stay home and do all that before.
What do you need, puppy? What do you do? Is it lunchtime?
Oh, you know what time it is, don't you?
Want lunchtime?
Okay, come on. Come on. I gotta give puppy lunch.
And that's all I remember. I'm spending a long time here.
I don't know where the heck that other, I'm gonna buy a battery for that, but you know what? I'm gonna try and see if I can get that a little better. I haven't done it by ear
See,
for so
I'm
long.
tone deaf, or my tuning is not good.
You came close.
See, there's a reason I need hearing aids. Evidence of my age. I need hearing aids. I need bifocals. I need, and I can't see well. And my skin is doing that thing. And and I have brown spots now.
Me too.
Developing all these.
That's can be done. Get rid of with cleansing, fasting.
Really? Okay. And there's also some things that kind of look like warts, but they're not warts. They're
Yeah, I got that
flat
too, and I
things.
burned them right off with peroxide.
Peroxide? Hydrogen peroxide?
35%. The stuff that you use for seed plants.
Why do you get rid of it?
Because I had something on my face in the summertime, and I thought, what the hell is that? And I went and I looked at it. It's like, oh my god, some kind of wart. What is it? And I freaked out, and I just picked it, made a little hole with I scratched it with a pin, and I put peroxide in there, and I fried it. When it got to be a scab, did it again, fried it, and burned it right off my face, and it's gone. Whatever it was. So if it was cancer, it's gone.
That's pretty cool. So I want to start playing my violin again. It's in the car. I took it to Toronto because I was going to play practice in the car, but it's too cold to open the windows at all, and I don't like making all that noise in the car that Willem then is trapped inside with. If you open the window, it lets it out, doesn't it?
So you can handle it if you're in the car with the window open?
Yeah, I have to have the windows open. So I'll have like, I don't know, sometimes I'll just have my window open and sometimes we'll have cross windows open. And sometimes I'll open his window just a little bit and close everything else and then it blows over to my side.
Here. Hey, you got a question here.
Oh, a question!
The
oh,
Book
yes.
of Uma. Nancy, did you mention that you lived on the farm, quote
Yes.
unquote, that is famous for delivering their own babies
Yes.
in Tennessee?
Yes.
Yeah, did you?
Yes.
Okay, tell her about that. She likes that. Noah, come
So
here.
you know about the farm then?
Come on, puppy.
The farm,
Come on.
they had a gate. And you come in the gate and you could come and visit. There were 1,700 people
Really?
on 1,500 acres.
Holy.
And Stephen Gaskin was the sort of the authority. He was like a prophet that we followed. And
Because see,
what?
there was like a, the
Yeah,
back
it
then they
was a
think of it as a
following.
cult.
Yeah, they thought it was a cult. My parents thought it was a cult, but it wasn't. It was so awesome. My parents said I was brainwashed, but it was. We used to say, "Yeah, but it feels so nice to have a clean brain." And so there was an agreement that when you have thoughts about people that you're with, you can't really be one with them. If you know that's like the self other, like that. Oh yes, well that's the way she is, and this is the way I am, and well I do think she does kind of well anyway I won't think about that. She's nice. I'll just be friends, and so then you end up with this junk in the back of your mind, thoughts about what you saw somebody else do, judgments, right?
Yeah,
And they separate us all.
that's right.
And
Opinions and judgments separate.
Totally.
Mhm.
And it's a self other thing. That was the farm jargon, was self other. It's to think of yourself as separate from another person. And and so the agreement was that we would tell each other that it was okay to tell me where I had a weakness, where I was coming off as
Arrogant, something.
that's right, or thoughtless, or
Was it always just growth opportunities or acknowledgments?
there would be acknowledgments too, like you could tell somebody else something, but people were not very different from one another because everybody was kind of abiding these rules, and so we would all tell each other things, and it would be like, really, is that what I do? Oh wow, I didn't know that. And so you would cop to it, was the phrase, the jargon for agreeing with your adversary while thou art in the way with him. Anyway, but it wasn't just agreeing, but you would try, we all wanted to be better. We all wanted to get rid of our weaknesses. And so when we saw somebody else doing a trip, like thinking that I'm shy, and having this attitude toward the whole world, that's just having it. That's just a trip. Something that you decide to do at some point in your life. You decide to do these things. And so we would tell each other. And in that way, we wouldn't have all these thoughts about each other. We could just go from here. We're clear. We don't have any baggage between us because we've sorted it all out as we go. And we want to help each other. We want to be helped. So, because you're self-conscious is written all over your face, right? That's who you are, is what everybody sees. But we are completely blind to our own subconscious. Everybody else can see it, but we can't. And so it's really helpful
Blind
when
spot.
somebody will, when somebody else will give us. But I did my degree in psychology.
Oh, did you?
So I'm a psych major. So in one class, we were taught that if you tell somebody their weakness or tell them something about them that you think is very good for them to know, they will have two reactions. One is you're angry, you're mean, you're being spiteful. How could you be like that to me and tell me that that's the way I am? That's one thing. And the other thing is that you were just deluded. Because of some way that you see the world, that's what you think I'm doing. So it's very rare that someone will cop to it, that they'll be interested in listening and want to know what it is that they've done that's not right, where there's a better way.
You mean most of the population does that? Like what was going on in the farm is unusual, is what you mean, right?
Yeah, it was very different.
Yeah.
Yeah, because people don't do that
No.
in real life. We go on about our lives and we accept each other's faults, but we still see them.
You know
We
what they
don't-
call that? Racketeering.
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 Racketeering is like the mafia shop that's got the cigar shop, but in the back they're selling guns. So they're pretending one thing, but what's really behind the scenes is something else. We all racketeer, and we snow our own selves. We'll pretend to our own selves that we're doing someone, being something, but we're not. We present it to the world, and what did you say? Cop up to
Cop up.
yourself is hard to do because we're in our own blind spot running these dialogues, these
Cop to
stories.
it.
Cop to it, yeah.
Cop to it. That was the old hippie jargon. So Stephen actually came from Haight Ashbury.
Do you need to go outside?
And
Excuse me.
goodbye, doggy. And so he had a lot of people. He would get together with them, and they would have a class. And on Monday night class, and so he would teach them various things that he was finding out about life. And I guess he was kind of a seer. I don't know if I couldn't tell you how that fits into all of my beliefs, but he did see something that the rest of us weren't seeing. And so he taught us. He was a teacher. And every Sunday morning we would have a sunrise and we would do the Om
What's he doing?
to the sunrise. We would sit out there with our hands like this and our legs crossed, and the sun would be rising and we would go, and because there were 1,500 people doing it, sitting on the side of a hill, looking at this sunrise over the horizon, and you had 1,500 people, or maybe that's counting children too, but anyway, these were not children, they were the adults. We would come to this Sunday morning sunrise, and the Om, it's very similar to the sound of a train. If you ever hear a train, it's worth it to your experience on earth to stand there when the train comes and do it and say,
Do you mean that the Om sound is like the train horn?
It's, yeah.
Yeah, it is. I never noticed that before. Now it's not going to be so annoying.
Oh, yes, it's wonderful.
Wow.
Yeah, so you have to do the Om with it, but you don't have to. But it's really cool because it's a time when you can really be as loud as you want to be. And it's okay because you're drowned it out by the train.
I was apparently too loud in my singing class, so I stopped going. I'm not allowed to sing loud.
Is that
Really?
here?
Yeah.
Oh.
I haven't gone back,
I want to learn a bunch of the hymns at my church that are in, I want to learn the alto. Because the soprano, see, my falsetto lands between a G and A. And so I can find the notes because of where my falsetto is. But a lot of the hymns, they go below G and they go up above A. And so you're always having to change. You have to go across this falsetto. And when your vocal cords are in, when they're working well and well practiced, when you're singing all the time, then you can make that switch easily. But if the only time you're singing is on Sunday morning, and you're only singing 3 M's, then your voice, those muscles all tighten right up. And it's really hard to jump over the falsetto. And so I want to learn the alto, because the alto rarely goes above G. Sometimes it'll go above A, on A, but very rare. You can do the whole thing in the lower falsetto. So when Willem is playing the piano for me, I love singing Christmas hymns, Christmas carols. And And so he'll play the piano and I'll sing. And I asked him to transpose it lower. We went over to this old folks home in town. Can't say the name of the place because we don't want all the world to know where we are. Hey, look! I think there's been more writing. The shapes of the
I'll
writing
go
has
look
changed.
at your writing and report. I'm gonna put some wood on the fire. I'm freezing.
Oh no! And
You're
what
co-
time is it? It's 10 after 12. We're really spending the day together. Who's here? 2 people? Book of Oma?
Yeah. Okay, so she says, hang on a minute. I'm just trying to go back up to where she started. Okay, Tennessee. The Book of Uma. Okay. Oh my goodness, how cool. Yes, I am a doula. Oh, wow, so cool.
Oh.
And then, thank you so much for sharing your experience. Yes, I know well. I'm also a yoga teacher. Wow.
Wow.
And she says, what a big life you've lived. And then it says, it is said, Om is the sound of the universe. Yeah, that's right. That's right. It's the original sound. That's
And
what
I
God made
wondered-
everything from. Or
I
so.
wonder if the sound that you heard, the music you heard from your plants, is that the Om sound?
No.
How can I hear this music?
I don't know. It was a state of consciousness. It was a state of you with all the time you spend in nature, but it was indoors that I heard it, segregated from the outside sounds. It is the oddest thing. Now they can put sensors on the plants and pick up everything that they're picking up. Like right now, this plant electrodynamically is just going crazy because I'm touching it. Right, like it feels me. I can feel something, but I'm not hearing sound, right? Do you know I heard that there's some specific plants that take down the damage of Wi-Fi, electromagnetic pollution? This plant is one of them. Spider plants, this plant, I forget what the list was, help to purify your environment of electromagnetic radiation. I mean, trees have always done everything, right? Yeah, I'm gonna throw some wood on the fire. I'm cold.
Yeah, I guess I'm cold too. Are you cold? No, you live in New Mexico. Yeah, in New Mexico where it's nice and warm. Hey, you know what? We have white skies here for a long, long time. And so my solution to white skies, which make me feel very depressed, is hey, we should bring this in there and do it. Oh, we can't move over here. So the white skies are like heaven, you know. What does white remind you of? It's purity and light. And so now I try to remind myself when I see the white sky that I could be looking at angels. I mean, what would an angel look like? An angel would be very white, I think. No wings, just people. They glow a lot. And I think that the whiteness would be very bright. So in the wintertime, when it's very bright with the white snow and the white sky, or actually it's very, very, very dark. It's quite dark. When you take a picture of it, it's uncanny how dark it is. You wouldn't see that from looking in this room. It looks like we're living in Sydney. This is,
I wanted to make a boot tree today. And then I thought, well, why should I make a boot tree when I could just go get a tree and figure out how to stand it up in the house, and just chop off like a dead tree up in the forest and just get it so that I can put the boots on it beside the wood stove to dry them. I was looking at all kinds of boot racks for wood stoves this morning. I was close to buying one on Amazon. I thought, screw it, I'll make it.
and if it's 8 feet long, your rooms are bigger than 8 feet, aren't they?
This room
This
is,
is
I think,
10. Anyway, if you get a long enough one that'll kind of wedge it between the ceiling and the floor.
yeah, but these foam tiled ceilings, I'm
Yeah,
worried
that's not
about
very
that.
good. Or you could get, I like having a birch log. And birch has that white powder on it,
Yeah.
and that purifies the air.
Does it?
Yes, it purifies it to the level of a surgical unit, a surgical room, operating room. It lowers the bio something. What is it? Bacteria, not bio. took my guitar with me to Jamaica. I went to Jamaica when I was 17. And I lived in a grass hut on top of a mountain. Just saying. I know. Everybody wants to go. Well, anyway, and I had this guitar. It was a Yamaha. It was a very good guitar. I think it was Yamaha or Yamaki. Anyway, it was a really good guitar. It's beautiful and it's sleek. And I took it to Jamaica with me. And Bully used to sit there and he would play it. He would just sort of bang on it. Bully. He was a Rasta that had taken me under his wing. He had Americans that would come, and he was a medicine man. He was quite old, and he would go out in the woods in the jungle, and he would gather plants, and then he would cook them on this big black cauldron for a week, and then he'd make tonic, and then he would go find a hive. Bees, and he would rob a hive, and he would take those bottles that they had. You make snow cones out of them. You know, it's a kind of a sweet liquid that people buy snow cones in the hot places, and so they had all these bottles were always, you know, refuse. And so he would go find a few at the market, and then so he had 3 bottles, I think, and he filled them up with the honey from the hive. The hive was in the tree. I don't know how he did that, but he did it. I think he did it when I went home. Like I had to go home 6 times because you were only allowed to stay there for 6 weeks.
Is that right?
Yeah, because my visa would run out, so I had to go back to Miami.
Back?
So it cost $199 to fly from Montego Bay to Miami, and so I just kept doing that. But I think I went on up to Georgia a couple times. I had to stay overnight in Miami. And then you could fly back. I had asked a friend of mine if he would hitchhike with me to Miami. If he would, from Virginia. I was snowed in the mountains of Virginia. This person who was a weaver, she had a loom and she had all this yarn and she dyed it and everything. And I spent a whole month there. It was December. I was there over Christmas. The first time I wasn't at home for Christmas, and I was 17, right? And I was, I heard.
Parents must have been freaking out. You're up there in the world.
I know.
Eh? I know my parents too. My mom says I was responsible for every gray hair on her head.
My mother would write me letters and telling me that Daddy had taken her out to a restaurant where she could just bear her sorrow and her soul over my situation. You know, like, okay. That was her way of looking at it. But I had a wonderful time. I learned so much.
Yeah,
Of course, you're wide open at 17.
Yeah.
You know, wide open. You are learning everything out there. 16, 15, you're learning and learning and learning. Anyway.
Just think of how great Sarah's gonna have it when her child gets older. She'll have so much living in her to have with him because she had him
That's
so
right.
young.
You can live together.
Yeah,
You can both.
let me see what
Yeah,
else
and you'll
it
be
says.
in your learning is time. with
She's
your
been
baby.
to Jamaica several times.
Oh, really? What part?
Hang on a second, I lost the sound.
Who was
It
that?
says,
Book of Uma?
yep.
That
She
was-
says MIDI sprout is a machine that connects it to your plants. Oh wow, and transmits the music. What?
What'd she say?
She says there's a MIDI sprout is a machine that connects to your plants and transmits the music they emit. I love Jamaica. She's been there several times. Are you kidding me? I gotta look this up.
Okay,
Hold on.
I got my phone right here. Okay, what's it called?
MIDI sprout.
Medi Sprout?
MIDI, and then sprout, separate word. The book. Yeah, right. How cool.
Okay, so plus Medi Sprout.
Where's my phone?
MediSprout. I think I saw it on a shelf somewhere. Medi Sprout. So what is this? It's a machine?
A machine that can give you the music that, wow, so but that bypasses us, right?
As physicians and medical providers, we went into healthcare to see and take care of patients. Startup Health was founded in 2001 by health tech entrepreneurs Stephen Prine and what is that? V2MD? Is that Medi Sprout? V2MD. Look, there's an app.
I don't know, I'm gonna type it in.
Okay,
right
I'll
now.
get this app.
You gotta get
But will
What
this
is the
is this
app?
the right thing?
Midi Sprout. I'm gonna type it in right
MEDI?
now. MIDI.
Oh, MI. Oh, okay, this is Medi. MA.
Midi Sprout. Wow, I can't believe it. It came up like that fast. Midi Sprout, it translates biodata from plants into music. What the hell? God. And I thought I was crazy back then. This was in 1999. 1999. That's almost 20 years ago.
Shock products.
Shit, 20 years ago.
Oh,
by
aren't
fast.
you what language is this?
Oh, sorry, that's a different language altogether. That means
Medi
smooth
Sprout
over
app
the
now
ceiling in
available for
Swahili.
iOS. Okay, so what did you say?
I said that word means smooth over the ceiling in Swahili.
Good idea. Where's my App Store? Thank you. This is amazing. I had no idea. Uma.
So how
So
do
you take it out in the woods and you listen to the nature?
how it works.
MIDI.
And the two probes that are used to measure the changes in electrical currents across the surface of the plant's leaf or technology converts these fluctuations into note and control messages that can be read by synthesizers and computers to generate music and even video.
MIDI Sprout. Data
I'm gonna
Garden.
watch a video right now on it. It says, "You want to see this?"
Yeah.
We'll move this animal over.
Oh, sit beside me, okay?
Oops. Oh, it's not a very good couch. It's a broken couch.
Oh, for your phone? Is that
That's
what
the
the music's
music?
down like?
Man, can you imagine what this is going to be like? To grow the food and talk to it this way? Do GMO plants have a song? Can you do it? Thank you for this.
Yeah, this is awesome.
Wow, look at this girl's last name.
All right, so we're here today to figure out if there's a difference between a GMO plant and a non-GMO plant in terms of the song that they sing. Every plant does have its own song, and this machine will allow us to hear their song. So we have a blind test. We don't know which one is the GMO and which one is not, and we're going to hook the electrodes up to see what the difference of the song is. Or perhaps maybe one of them doesn't have a song because it doesn't have an identity. That's what we're going to find out. We are going to use Music of the Plants, this device, to see if there's a difference in the song from GMO to non-GMO plants. We have them labeled in the back, so we don't know which one is GMO and which one is non-GMO yet. So to give you a little background, Music of the Plants started in Damanhur in Italy. It's a community that wanted to share and be one with the land in all possible ways. So it grew its own food. Their houses are in the trees. And they realized that the one missing element was the music that they were listening to. So they developed this box that allows us to hear the plant song. And every plant has its own song. So today we want to hear if there's a major difference in GMO versus non-GMO plants. So we're going to start with this plant. And what I'm going to do is there's an electrode here that grounds the energy, and we're going to put another electrode on the leaf, and we're going to just put a little moisture to conduct the electricity. Once the electrode's energy comes from the top of the leaf down to the base, and the electrical
sickly looking. It's been hurt.
So now we're just going to wait for the electrical current. And when this hits green, it means that all the currents lined up perfectly, and that's when we'll start hearing the sound.
This is really cool. I'm gonna read what's being written.
Ah. It took 4 minutes for the plant and machine.
We've done a time lapse about 4 minutes, 5 minutes has passed, and this
No
hasn't
song.
made sound yet.
That was a GMO one.
We're going to try out this plant and see if it we're going to switch the electrodes and see if it has a song. Again, my theory is if it's GMO that's been genetically modified, then it won't have an identity, so it won't know how to sing. That's my theory. So let's give this one a go.
Which one's GMO?
That one had no song. And her theory is that the GMO ones don't have an identity and can't make a song.
Okay, here we go. We're going to
They
wait.
have an identity, I guess, but that's so sad. I like how she's pulling on the plant like that.
Do you know, I've heard that people that die and come back say that the plants are all singing. The rocks are singing. Everything
Rocks
sings. Yeah.
The shamans say that the rocks hold wisdom and call them the rock people, and that all the mountains of the earth hold all of our knowledge. Trees do something like that too. My guy that hasn't eaten in months, he says everything you eat is alive. It's no, we're not supposed to go from animals to plants.
So we know that this plant has a song, and we keep rolling. And we're going to switch it back now to this other plant and see now that it's heard how to sing if it will choose to sing for us. See what that song is.
If it will choose to sing for us now that it knows how.
Are these tomato plants?
Yeah, looks like it. Right away.
But
What I did with the last one.
It's excited to sing now.
It's had a
can
lesson.
you imagine doing this in the woods? The tree.
Yeah.
Like trying out the colors.
But I don't understand. If this plant can sing, and this plant couldn't sing, but he's singing now, why is he singing? Because
You learned
We-
it from that one.
yeah, but he should be able to hear him anyway. Like, can he not hear him? And
I
without
don't know
this
what
machine,
this is about, but we'll find out.
So they both sang, so let's find out which plant is which.
What if they had him on?
So that train. So this is our GMO plant. And this is our non-GMO plant. Let's get the labels. So we saw the two plants. We heard both of their songs. So I believe that every plant does have a song. And if a plant has been genetically modified, it has lost part of its identity. So it needed another plant to remind it of what the song is in its heart. Because we're all sentient beings and we all feel. So
that's very strange. So, how much is this item?
Hang on a minute. I gotta get back to this.
Aha, see it in action. Oh, we did that.
We just did that.
Did
Let's
you
see what it costs.
download it yet? The app?
Download the.
Oh, you're at, okay.
I need
you're
to buy the gizmo, don't I?
right.
Buy. Let's find out what it costs. Whoa!
$300.
Shit. That's a lot of money.
Well, maybe I'll have to earn some money. I'll have to save
Maybe
some
we'll
money.
ask them to.
I should review it. Ah, for Nancy today.
Yeah. Why don't we
Okay.
ask them if we can
Is there a
contact?
media contact thing?
Page this side, new tab, share. What we up here? Shop, blog, info,
Info. Our story, insta contact.
contact. This is a mobile one. Troubleshooting guide.
General contact. Oh, is there all over inquiries? This is it.
Yeah.
So you put your media stuff in there and submit it. Boy, now I want to see videos about this. MIDI sprout.
Do you want me to send you this?
Sure. My phone has 1% battery left. Are we running out of time?
Copy.
It's 12:30.
He's gonna call at 1 o'clock.
Okay, let's see.
I'm going to text you this.
You're
thing.
welcome. Hex Rex. Oh dear people. I'm going to visit the little girls' room again.
Okay, I sent you that link.
I like your book, your dresser for that.
I made that. Well, that is so cool. I am going to definitely check that out. Wish I had the $300 to buy that thing right now. I'm just going to look up. Found that 7 Pepsis will cause you to jump up and down until your knees become sore, then sit down quickly. And wow, crazy. People are bored. What just made that sound? Oh, must be Nancy's phone. Wow. Would have been cool if I had continued the studies about the plants when it first happened, but I was busy with so many other things. That might be something that I do now. It'd be really cool to talk to the vegetables I'm growing. But then I'm not sure if I'd be able to eat them if I knew they were talking to me. Starting to think no food is necessary. I'm taking a course by a guy that hasn't eaten in about a year, has not lost any weight. Says that that's got nothing to do with weight gain, weight loss. The whole thing about food has been a disinfo. And that'd be cool. Can you imagine if we didn't have to eat any living thing anymore, ever again? That we just breathe air and we stay alive, and nothing has to
Well,
kill
at
or hurt or terrify.
At the resurrection, our bodies are changed from blood to an immortal fluid. So we won't have to eat.
What's an immortal fluid?
I don't know, but whatever it is that will,
Do you think that's going to happen here?
it'll be after, when this life is over, at the resurrection, when we put our bodies back on. Oh look, I get to put on my body again.
Another suit. Is that your phone? Do you know?
That's, yeah, you just sent me a message, I guess.
Oh, does it do that until you open it?
It does, because
Mine doesn't do that. If I miss hearing a message,
You don't
and
hear it.
notification, they won't come back.
Oh, yeah. I have some of my apps don't put a little number on them.
Because I don't really want to be attached to the phone all day either.
Well, you don't have to, but it'll make noise, and then you know that there's a message you haven't looked at. Unless you happen to have been holding the phone at the moment and you saw what it was.
Oh yeah.
And then you, but if you,
So should we ask your audience something?
okay.
And it's related to our bathroom breaks. What's with one coffee in, three coffees out? Why is that? You notice that you're peeing out way more than you ever consumed?
Yeah.
Yeah, it seems to be so. I bet you if we measured the
Well,
what was-
okay. Now it's very humid outside. When you're outside, you know how raw the weather is when it's near
Yeah.
freezing, right?
Yeah.
I think it's because water conducts electricity, and so we are 99% water or 98% water, and so the water outside cools our water off pretty quickly, and that's why we get cold. That's what I think.
Okay, but how? Oh, the coffee question was probably not a good question for you
So
because you
when
don't
you
drink
take
caffeine
when you take a bath, you will probably need to go pee when you're done.
because you've absorbed water.
That's right, because your skin now, if it's humid out, why wouldn't your skin be absorbing humidity
You sweat more when it's humid out for some reason.
in the summer?
You know, I never understood that. Like, why is that? Because osmosis. So
It's that you don't sweat more; it's that the air is already too full of moisture to take your moisture away as well.
Oh, right.
That's why you're sweating underneath a layer of moisture that won't let your
Let it
sweat
get
go
away.
away.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was thinking of osmosis. Like, so if there's more, and it is osmosis. That's exactly why. But I wasn't thinking about the saturation in the air. So, like, if it's dry, all of our moisture in our body right now is just being pulled right out of us, right?
Evaporating in the house.
Yeah. And sweating in dry weather is harder to accomplish.
Yeah,
actually.
because it's all
Yeah.
whisked away. By
Yeah, exactly.
breeze.
Just like living by wood stove. All the moisture just whisked away. I had a full clothesline of clothes yesterday. Swear to God, they were dry in a half an hour. Did you see my indoor clothesline?
I need to make one like that.
It was really easy. I'll show
What
you.
have you got?
Well, I have some more of this stuff. too.
Should I come in there and abandon our friends?
No, you show your friend.
Oh, okay. She's gonna bring it. Oh, okay.
Okay, so now it's probably all tangled because I wrapped it up last night and I'm terrible about making knots in my stuff. But this is my clothesline. Hang on. How do I get close enough to show this? This is wire that's plastic coated, and I don't know what it was for originally. It might probably be a conductor or something, or could have been. I don't think it was a clothesline, but anyway. I made just a knot on either end. And Nancy, I'm going to show you it there. I got the C hook on one side of the room, C hook on the other side of the room, and I take this down every time so I don't run into it. But because it's got the wire inside, it doesn't stretch. And this is my indoor clothesline, Nancy.
Perfect.
Ta-da! And then I
Perfect.
don't want it to stay there, so I took it and I just wrap it up and I stick it in that little basket there. And I do this every night. Every load of laundry in the wintertime is going to go this way, and the other ones are in the summer.
What a good
Go
idea.
on the line, and that way I get moisture because, like, I can't stand all these fans running. Like, actually, listen to this. Listen to the difference right now. And the audience there can hear the difference. That fan right there,
Mhm.
that's just circulating the heat down to this room.
Mhm.
But listen, this is humidifier, and nice and quiet. I wonder if they can hear the difference. Can you hear the difference of me turning off the dehumidifier, the ceiling fan, and this other circulating fan? This is all required because of a wood stove.
We don't have any of those things, but we have a ceiling fan on low. We don't do the others.
We got a comment on the fluid there.
Oh yes, Elma was writing something and I didn't get to read it all.
Caffeine is a diuretic, meaning
it makes your body get rid of fluid.
There, that's why. It's because it was coffee.
Why does alcohol do that? Because it's a diuretic as well? Because they both do that. You drink either one of those and you just dehydrate the hell out of yourself, the heck out of yourself, Nancy. Right?
Right.
Is alcohol the same?
I have no idea. Uma might know.
No, that was
Dun, dun.
Chris
This is good to get to know Uma.
Christonia Watson.
So-
What a cool name.
So this Medi thing, I think this is a really important
Oh,
thing.
wait a minute. Uma says something else. She says a book of Anastasia of the Ringing Cedars speaks about putting the seeds in your tongue for a time. Yes, okay, I know about this. I'm going to do that this year. I've
So
done it
tell me
once
what it
before.
is.
So what
Uma.
Uma said was that Anastasia or Anastasia, right? I've got one book here. I've never read it actually, but people keep telling me to read it because I remind people of her. And
Oh,
I wanted to read the book to find out why. But when I did read some, or someone told me that about this, that you could put the seeds of the food that you're about to plant in your mouth, and it informs the seeds of the plants that are to become to grow what you need specifically by your DNA. So when you put the seeds in your mouth and you hold them and you basically your saliva is the information, but the moisture is pre-opening those seeds as well, right? So it's really good to pre-soak seeds. But
they're pre-soaking with your DNA
you know,
and your needs.
some
And
seeds
so-
are difficult to do that with. Carrot seeds. If you wet them and then try to plant them and get them off your finger, boy, that's pretty tough to do.
Oh, what
Carrot.
you can do, you can make a paste, like cornstarch and water. You make a pudding, and you put them in that, and then you just drip it into the line.
Oh, there's another great word. Too much. And you can spread them out enough like that?
Yeah, you just make it as much and little seeds as you need.
What did you do with cornstarch?
Yeah, I think you make a paste of cornstarch and water. You cook it, right? Make a little cornstarch water, and then it'll be kind of like pudding or runny enough as whatever you.
Like a white sauce.
Yeah. And then you just mix your seeds into
I
it when
wonder
it's
if you
cool.
could do it with something that would actually be really healthy for the seed too, like a food, a pre-starter of some kind, some
There
kind
might
of
be
a
something
universal
else.
boost.
Yeah, it might have been something else. Maybe you were supposed to use real pudding or something, but I have.
Like,
No
why not do it
problems.
with maple syrup, or something with some manure and manure tea.
Yeah,
I gotta
Right.
pee again.
or manure paste.
Yeah.
The other day I was out in the woods and there were these I wonder if more people will start to see that I'm online live and they will come and visit. I wonder how this works. I'll have too many videos and there'll be too many of them in a row and none of them will get more than 10 or 20 hits. And we've said a lot of important things here today, don't you think? And it's a shame if they just get, put in the basement of the YouTube storage. Because there are some good things there. There was a lot of time that was useless. But if I chopped it up into 20 videos that only were about those things, they would still get very few hits because there's too many of them. But maybe I need to get out there more. Maybe what I need to do is I need to start watching other people's videos and commenting. And then people that are interested in what I've commented will look me up, just like everybody does with other comments. I think that's how you end up with more people knowing you exist.
Hey, you know what I was thinking? If you want to get some bamboo sticks in town now,
Okay.
we could go pick up Ian together.
I have to be back to pick up Desmond.
For what time?
3:30.
Well, I'd be getting Ian before 2:00, and we're home by about 2:30. If we go shopping first, then we can grab him for 2. Well, we can do it another day, just so if you want to continue.
I'm sort of scared about the road conditions.
But look and
It's-
see what we're at like now.
Yeah, they've got plastic on these windows.
I
It's
can
hard to
see up
see.
this way. No, they're clear here.
Oh, okay. And how's the
It's not
road?
snowing anymore.
Is the road clear?
Yeah. Yeah, we're good.
Hmm.
That's good, because when I was coming home, I
I'd
was
rather
thinking of
go
going back.
snowshoeing.
Eh?
I'd rather go snowshoeing.
Oh, I wanted to show you something about snowshoes. Remember I told you I have these plastic ones?
Oh.
These were given to me by an outdoor education camp,
Uh-huh.
because I was running a retreat center and he thought that we would want these. We had like
Wow.
40 or 80 pairs of these. But anyway, they're not great. After I went snowshoeing with you, Nancy took me snowshoeing with real authentic, pioneer style snowshoes, and they were all held together with these straps that kept coming apart. Anyway, Nancy, I thought these straps would be something that we could take off of these ones and put them on your ones, because look, they're done. Look, they come right off. They're strapped on, just like that.
Mhm.
And the strap itself was really handy. And I thought, if you take one of these and try to put it on, replace the harnesses on one of your pairs, see if you like it. And if it works, I'll make more of these.
And these harnesses?
Yeah. Look at it. It's just
These
clips.
must
You can
really
get them.
slip.
Oh, you know what? I can't. Can I get it through here? Yeah, that's what I found. They were slippery. That's what I didn't like.
I think that the leaning down to put this on is hard to clip it. Because you've got to reach you've got to unlock it.
Yeah, you have that trouble. But it was really easy because it was just this. You kick in and you just.
That's right.
clip
Well,
the
if you can, but I have DDD, so I've got degenerative
Oh.
disc disease. I have 3 slip discs.
So that won't work.
So that I can't bend down and do it, but you can if you want to use them when you're using them.
Well, what I was thinking is getting a set like yours, the real kind, and taking these harnesses and putting them on if they don't come with a decent pair, because then I could just go clip and I'm in. But you know what? It was.
And I think you probably can because you can probably reach your feet very easily.
Yeah, I can.
Yeah, my back is not as.
I do have a
I need
sore
to
back.
do
but-
yoga. I need.
You know, when I didn't submit that form, I just ripped it up because I left it on my desk for so long, with just yours and my name on it. But I came across a little book at the dump, and it's the original instructions of yoga when it came to this part of the world, and it's really cool listening to somebody write about it from 1964 or 1969, and the way they spoke about the life force and all the reasons for yoga. We don't talk about those things anymore. We just do, it's good exercise. I don't think you should hear all the reasons for yoga. I always thought it was
Who's the
just too
writer?
slow of an exercise for me. I could never stand
It's not Richard Hiddleman's 28-day yoga plan, is it? That's the one I had for years and years and years. I still
Did
have
you
the
take
book.
that to the dump?
No. Is that what you found?
Yeah. And I started
Really?
reading it this morning mainly. Want some glasses? That's the page on my careful. Oh, you got glasses, okay.
Yoga USA. I remember when you could buy these little books on how to do your hair and
Yeah.
it's very old looking. The unique system 10 million Americans believe in. Oh, it is Richard Hiddleman.
What size are your feet?
Whoa, it's his. I can't believe that.
What size are your feet?
10.
So why'd you ask me that? Because that's the book you studied?
Yeah, but mine is a different book. Mine is Richard Hiddleman's 28-day yoga plan. We did all these, the leg pulls. See, I can't do those leg pulls because that bends that part of my back. And if I do that, my back goes out and it'll stay out until I go to a chiropractor. Now this I can do maybe. My pain doctor the other day, he took my back and he wiggled me. He says, okay, now I want you to, and he had my back when he could see it. And he says, now bend that way. And he could see, I want to see how far down it is before it stops moving. And I could do I could go on this side. I can go right down. But on this side, that's it. It won't go. Everything is stuck.
But is it good to try to stretch it?
Probably. Probably. It's just the muscles that are holding them in the wrong places.
Yeah, and the guy
So
says
if
that you
you-
go very
Yeah,
slowly
you
at
just-
your comfort zone.
That's right.
Slowly
So you
stretch it
just
over
move
weeks,
until
months. Doesn't matter.
she said there's a sweet spot. Before that, nothing's very happening, and then there's a spot, and then right after it's too much. And so you
So
find
you know
that
how to
sweet
listen to
spot.
that.
Yeah. And that's what helped me lose weight. Because I started listening to my body.
Yeah.
And she told us to put our hands on our stomach. And my stomach goes out here, right? And so I hated to feel it in my stomach. I just didn't want to know that I was this mega
Yeah,
fat.
that's what denial does.
mobile.
It just stop giving attention to it, right? Denying and not acknowledging it. Yeah, I put these jeans on today because I packed on quite a bit of extra weight this year, but I kind of needed to. I was really underweight and sort of depleted. So I don't mind having put a bit on, but I had to stop it. And this is my fish tank boundaries. These jeans can't go past this.
Right.
If I go past this, I won't fit in
See,
anything
now the
else.
locust, I can't really do that where you bend your legs all the way up because my SI joint, one of them is fused. And because of the DDD, it jams my lower back. Like I can't swing my legs real far back.
You know what I'd like to invite you to consider?
I can do this though.
Take the information, but don't be given by it because the possibilities are always, always there. Our belief system gives us our reality, right? So if you say you're that way and you're going to stay that way,
Right.
you win, right?
Right.
You're giving energy to that.
Right.
So you don't deny, but you work towards a new possibility.
I know, and now it's all gone.
Yeah.
And it's
And
amazing.
this must be making a big difference to your back.
It was 70 pounds.
Yeah.
I go hiking and the boots aren't heavy.
So 70 pounds. I didn't know her 70 pounds ago.
Nancy
gonna-
today.
I'm going to go looking at your videos now to see what you did look like.
Now this would also wreck my back. Now this I'm supposed to do for my, where you put
But
your,
if you did that super slowly, at least this part, okay? Maybe not that much of a bend, but this is floor, because I've got that same
yeah,
thing
I
going
can do
on.
this arch thing. Oh, I wanted to try your machine.
Oh, we're going to go get it and bring it here.
Oh yes. Backward bend. Yeah. I think I could do a backward bend. I don't know what this is gonna look like.
This thing is so funny. So we gotta explain to people that we live in barnyard country. I'm gonna tip this back over. So I've had sore hips, and I found this thing. We have a dump. Our dump is
Oh, they all know.
a reuse it center.
I've got
Okay.
150 dump videos.
I'm gonna do a.
Okay. Oh dear.
And this thing showed up, and it's for people that do rodeos or horseback riding. It's supposed to strengthen the core. So I'm all kind of seized up through here, and I've gone to physio, chiropractors, everything to try to get this working again. So this thing, it moves your body. You can go backwards and forwards. Anyway, you're supposed to hang on. Yeah, I'll turn it a little bit so they can see the seat shape. Okay, I'll show the whole machine. This is the entire machine, and this bar at the front here is what you activate the whole thing with.
Put your feet up.
You can move it forward and backwards. Anyway, and there's this handle here, and you're supposed to mimic being on a rodeo like a bull with a saddle.
Holding on to this.
Yeah, and so when you hold on to this, you can arc backwards, and you get a stretch on the psoas muscles. Hang on, the angle's not quite right to show what's happening here. So it moves like that, and then you switch back, and you're supposed to let your arm fling backwards so you can get like this stretch. You can do both sides. Let me see if I turn another angle, Nancy. I don't want to fling you in the face.
No.
So maybe this way will show all the different parts. Okay, and now so I'm pushing the bar forward, and it makes a forward circle. See how that's moving? Okay. Now
you're supposed to push your bum right back. Okay, and then you lean. Lean. And I'm probably not doing this quite right because I don't know how to rodeo and I don't horseback ride. But let me tell you, this motion really has been helping my lower back. And you want to try this thing? It's so fun. And I tried to get it going the other way. Hang on. Where you spin the thing backwards. Hang on a minute. The girl said that it did a different setup. It's still doing the same thing, I think, whether it goes backwards or forwards. Hang on. Because the thing just goes up and down. I don't think it makes a difference. Anyway, so move back. Whoops. And that's, you gotta be careful because I did that. It flips, it'll flip right back. You gotta balance it. Let's try that. Anyway, I think what it does is it moves, it does a lot of movement to the lower back, but it stretches the front as well. And then you get to turn from side to side by turning your arm.
You know what it reminds me of is those horses in the store when you were a kid. You put a quarter in it. While you went grocery shopping with your mom. Woo! Giddy up, horsey! Giddy up! You're coughing a lot today. You want a lozenge?
Sure, thank you.
Okay.
I have, I guess the grandchildren have gone through colds.
Yeah.
Thank you very much. Welcome. It's very dry throat, very scratchy.
I don't think it's a sick throat. I find I get really stuffed up when it gets so bone dry in the house, and you think it would be the opposite. Hey, that looks good that way. Moving your arms that way. That's kind of how they ride. And if you squeeze your knees onto that seat in the front there where the handle is, it's like motocross, and you wouldn't believe the amount of workout your thighs are getting.
I want to go horseback riding.
Me too. Do
I
you know
have a
anybody
friend-
with horses?
I have a friend.
Can we go?
I don't know. She started working lately, and so she doesn't have much time anymore. But we're trying to find a time, and she has several horses. So maybe we could all
We
ride
probably all
together.
are bored and would like to go for a ride.
I think it's a little hard on my knees.
Is it?
This is like swinging. So this helps your lower back, eh?
Yeah. Try different sitting positions, like sitting forward with your bum sticking out, like to the back a bit. And then try where you're leaning way backwards into the seat. You can do that. See, you can do that. I heard it crack. That feels good.
There's a crack with my. I didn't bite it though.
Do you have a chiropractor?
Mm-hmm.
Here?
Yeah, I'll tell you after we're not on live.
Oh, okay.
Sorry, guys.
No, I get it.
Okay, so let's check out. She's awesome. She uses a computer thing.
Oh, that's my call to come and pick up the kid. Hang on.
A book, Anastasia of the Ringing Cedars. Anastasia of the Ringing Cedars speaks about putting the seeds under your tongue for a time, and it will genetically read that your body needs from the food specific to you. It's a book series. Christine Iona Watson. Caffeine is a diuretic. Makes your body get rid of fluid. I don't drink coffee. anything to take home to work on tomorrow? Or to work on Wednesday at home? Because that's not there. You just make it easy for yourself, right?
Well, I think my back hurts. My lower back. I think I've got it in.
Yeah, well, then that's what I'm usually be about.
I think it was this stretching that hurt. Well, if this was so hurt, then maybe this will fix it.
See about turning out.
See if it'll bend those several vertebrae there. Okay. Okay, so it's time to go, eh?
Pretty soon. You have time. I'm gonna put this thing back. It does move things around a bit, eh?
Mm-hmm.
Did it make you more sore?
Yeah, I think I'm sore now. I wasn't sore while I was on it, but now that I'm not on
Do
it,
a little bit of stretching to whatever your stretching parameters are to take out the stiffness right away.
have you ever seen my dress? I like this dress.
You wanna come? Or you wanna get dropped off?
Yeah, I probably should get dropped off.
Okay.
Well,
Well,
you know, if you get those,
I got a whole
bamboo,
shed full.
I'll reimburse you. If you're into that.
You could probably get colored ones too if you want, eh? They have thicker ones.
Okay, well, I guess we're gonna say goodbye now.
Let me say goodbye to your people too.
This has been real. It's been wonderful. Well, you saw it here last.
Did you say bye already?
Not yet. Here,
I
let's.
gotta say bye because I was here too.
Okay, come back here. Let's go back a bit.
Okay.
There we go.
There, I wanted to say goodbye too. Nice meeting you people and chatting. Did we answer all the questions on the side?
I think so.
Okay. That was
Well-
great. Thank you so much. It was an awesome morning. I've never done this before.
You can do this at home. Results may differ. And remember, you saw it here last. And like and subscribe. And if you want other videos to watch, there are 500 playlists. You can put in many different kinds of words. Nancy today, and whatever the word is that you think that I may have said something about. And if so, there it'll be.
What do I do with my
Okay.
phone?
Bye. Now I have to figure out how to turn it off.
You probably have to turn off the live
End
button
stream.
somewhere.
Okay, so where is the thing right now? Here it is. Okay, bye guys. Who's still
Bye.
here? We have 4 people here. Oh no, people that came.
Oh.
Uma
And
and
they're looking at my awful
Christiana.
light on the ceiling.
Hugs, ladies, bless.
Is
And
everybody
some
gone
people
now?
that didn't say anything. No, there's 4 people.
Is it finished now?
Well, we're gonna finish it as soon as I push this button. Bye guys. We'll do this again.
I gotta go find my phone.
No, wait, it didn't turn it off.
What's
Are
the
you
thing
sure
that
you want to
press for the live
end stream? What?
What was the live stream thing that you pressed to begin with?
I don't know. That's what it's doing. I think is live streaming.